Now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world on HBO pay-per-view, ladies and gentlemen, from Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas, let's get ready to rumble!
Hello everybody and welcome to the stream. I'm the Chris who plays games and we are ready to rumble here on Monday night, Memorial Day, playing some puzzle games tonight. So we're going to play some Wario's Woods, Dr. Mario, and Tetris and make our way through those games. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for having a good time. Hello Stingray Gaming. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Why is my little thing not showing up? There should be a little thing here. There we go. I found it. I found that button. Found it. That didn't work. Alright, anyway, hello, and welcome to the stream, everybody. Is this gonna, like, did I screw this up more? No? Okay, that's fine. Alright, yeah, so we're gonna play some puzzle games tonight. We're gonna be playing a few different ones. Like I said, Wario's Woods, Tetris, Dr. Mario, and we're just gonna play through them. So we're gonna start off here with Wario's Woods, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, like, finding a little thing is really important. So it's a really good thing that I did that. Let's go ahead and drop this bomb here. There we go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Pick up these coins and move on to the next level. Hello, Yugi. Hello. Welcome. Happy Monday. Alright, we'll go ahead and do this again. Drop this bomb. There we go. Alright, yeah, so I have been playing Emoji Tetra on Twitter for the past little while. So this is somebody who set up a poll-based way of playing Tetris on Twitter. So every 20 minutes a new move comes across. You all vote on whatever the next move is going to be, and this led me directly into getting myself in a Tetris mood. So that is a little bit of how we got here tonight. Is doing some of that convinced me that this was something I wanted to play. I have done puzzle games before. I actually included a bunch more puzzle games the last time we did this. I think I did something like 17. I don't plan to do that this time. I do know that my Wario's Woods play tends to result in about a 45-minute round from previous examples. So these are games that I oftentimes will toss in at the end of a stream, but don't play as much on their own. So we're going to make sure that we go ahead and play a full evening of these. So we'll play a round of Wario's Woods and then move on to some other things. It is Memorial Day. Memorial Day is the holiday here in the United States where we celebrate, or, you know, we remember, you know, soldiers and veterans soldiers who gave their lives in combat. It's a time for remembering people who gave the ultimate sacrifice in defending their country. Sometimes people confuse this with Veterans Day. Veterans Day is a day that is targeted for everyone who is in the military. Memorial Day is for the ones who died. So that's something that I know sometimes people get a little bit confused about. So we'll go ahead and grab these. Just rolling right through these levels. There we go. But yes, I don't know, my little thing, by the way, was that, my game capture was not working on that first screen, and I don't know why, but it's not that important, so I've just moved along. Move along. This is actually one of the things that I have learned is very important, giving conferences, like speaking at conferences and other things like that, is that oftentimes you will have various technical issues when speaking at a conference. And a key thing to do when dealing with technical issues is not to allow yourself to be completely overwhelmed and distracted by them, but instead to just, like, do what you can. So you don't want to spend, you know, especially when you're looking at lightning talks or other, like, quick 5-minute discussions or other things like that, it can be really easy to allow yourself to get kind of wrapped up in exactly your technical issues, and then, like, you don't end up with time for your presentation. Which is kind of shitty. Like, you want to have as much time as you can get, and so it makes sense to try and maximize that. Let's go ahead and hope we can get one more red bomb out of here before he does all this other stuff. This isn't gonna work, is it? Nope. So, although they will not put out any more things of the same color once you've gotten rid of a color entirely, if you've got any bombs lying on the ground, the game will continue to give you bombs of that color. What are you doing here? Go home or be crushed. I don't want to be crushed, nor do I want to go home. I'm going to do what I want, and what I want is to defeat you. We'll go ahead and drop this here and go ahead. Oops. Grab that and again get rid of those. And oh no! Get out of here, blue, pink. All right, I'll go ahead and grab the red. No. All right, that's fine. Have I ever beaten this game? No, I think that the most I've ever done is about level 45 or 50. So. Yeah, well, so that's one of the biggest problems is, like, when you have a live demo, like, you know, I've seen so many people who take their live demos, and because the demo is so important to them, which is understandable because oftentimes you've been working on this thing for forever, they get totally freaked out when it doesn't work, and then they will just, like, feel completely stymied, and they won't do anything other than, like, whine about their demo. And it's like, come on, you gotta, like, give me something. I'm not gonna see your demo, no matter what, so let's just move on and let's go. So I think there's a fixed number of levels in this life. At least the game, like the stage select screen makes it seem like there is, and they're like, as far as I can tell, they're all handcrafted levels, right? So it's not like the levels just continue on forever. Hello, Celso. And so yeah, so that's the question is, like, what happens when you get to the last level that seems like it's programmed in, and I don't know. I have definitely never gotten there. I really, like I said, with this game for streaming, what I've always done is basically just played through one round of it because I always get, like, it like takes me like 45 minutes until I hit my first continue point, and that's it. Like that usually because I'm playing at the end of the stream, I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. Okay, like I'm finally dead. Now I can go to bed. All right, let's go ahead and move these out of here. Move this, that. Go ahead and grab this. Put that there. But yes, having a demo that looks like a demo, so it can seem that way. The other thing that I would always do when I was going to conferences was that, you know, internet at these conferences is always terrible. Always, every time. Like, it's really hard to provide internet for like just the wireless technology. There are physical reasons why wireless technology makes providing internet for a room full of like that many geeks difficult. And so you just get used to that being that way. And so I would have all of these tabs that I had open that I pre-opened. And so like my entire browser would just have a series of tabs that I would flip through. And it was basically like a slideshow full of tabs. And that was how I made some of my things seem real when in fact they were not, is that, you know, I would like, you know, say I was going to click here, but instead of actually clicking on a thing, I would just, you know, click on the next tab that I had open. Come on, give me something other than green. Okay. Go ahead and grab that. And this will be done. It looks like garbage. You were at a conference or something, or were you at home when you were streaming on Saturday Live? But yeah, so things that make your demos look good are important. Ways to make sure that you're not completely stymied by it. You know, be prepared, have backup material, be prepared to talk through something without having stuff in front of you. At least, you know, do that as much as you can. And sometimes, like, it's just going to be bad, and you're just going to kind of be like, you know, you've got to wing it, and you got to do whatever you can. And some of winging it just comes from your experience with doing presentations, right? So I think we've talked before, Stingray, I think, has mentioned, like, you're really good at just talking. And the reason is because I've been doing public presentations for a decade now. My first major public presentation was probably one of my largest, actually. I presented in front of about 700 people at an O'Reilly conference back in 2007. And I've been, you know, and even before that, I'd done some public speaking, you know, classes in high school and other things like that. But that was my first big kind of breakout thing. And that was in 2007. And I really, you know, while I've done less presentations over the past few years, like at Nokia and at Google, it is still the case that I have had a lot of experience talking publicly. I've also had a lot of experience doing various organization stuff and so on and so forth. So, you know, that's, and I think that you hear that, you know, when I listened to my, like, I listened to my radio presentation or whatever presentation, my radio interview the other day, and I hear a lot of my presentation voice coming out in that as well. All of these various things that I have learned just by doing them an awful lot over the years. So there's no really substitute for that. You can actually take speaking classes. So when I was at bar camp at one point, I did actually go to a session which was taught by a speaking coach. And I kind of always wanted to go back to him and have him kind of, you know, look at my speaking style and tell me, okay, like, what would you do differently? Like, how could I make this better? Because when I spoke, he said, like, you were, like, I kind of did it two things, right? Like, so he gave some very, some tips, right, that were kind of basic, you know, run-of-the-mill stuff. And so I came up and I gave a little bit of a speech or whatever, and I tried to follow them. And, you know, at the end, he was, like, trying to give me some tips and said, okay, like, elaborate on this a little bit. And I did, but I was less kind of stilted. I was less postured and everything else like that. I was just attempting to, I was being myself more rather than attempting to present in the way that he had kind of suggested. And he was like, that was way better. Like, why didn't you just do that? And I was like, well, because you said to do it this other way. And he was like, no, for you, you should not do it this other way. Like, you were way more engaging when you just kind of follow your instincts for speaking. So that was kind of cool. But I did always want to go back to him and have him, you know, teach me the ways of public speaking, because I think that just because I'm, you know, decently good at something doesn't mean that I don't have more to learn, that there isn't something I could do better. But yeah, another part of this, of course, is that I have never been one for shyness or anything else like that. Like, I have always been very public, and that certainly helps, so. But yeah, convention center internet is basically non-existent. It's a difficult problem due to physics. It's a difficult problem due to cost. It's a difficult problem due to a lot of things. But like, so the YouTube office in San Bruno always has terrible internet, and it's because there's so many people, you know, attempting to do all of these different types of testing on devices and everything else like that, that is, you know, just really hard to do in a single space. So there we go. I absolutely think that in almost all cases, good public speaking skills and finding your own style is important, but that finding like good public speaking skills will absolutely benefit someone who's an entertainer. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone has to sound the same, or that necessarily like public speaking is the primary skill that is a difference there. But you know, I think a lot of people have asked me, like, how do you do what it is that you do? And the primary difference that I look at is my public speaking experience. And I'm still not great, right? If I was talking to someone who had experience as a radio broadcaster, so like Spiffy Mark Chambers, is a coworker of mine at Google, and has been doing radio for a long time. Like he did radio before he worked at Google. He worked at like the CBS. I don't know, CBS digital, I don't know, something like that. And has been doing a podcast off and on for, I don't know, a long time. So Low Budget FM, we've talked about it a little bit here before. And if I was to try and turn my, you know, style of speaking into a podcast or a radio broadcast, I think that a lot of my style of speech issues would become immediately apparent to any broadcaster. The biggest one that I can think of is the ums and the other inserted words that I have that I still am not very good at getting rid of. The ability to let something be silent for half a breath while I think is something that I'm really not good at. I also have a tendency to overuse the same word or phrase as a thought filler. So even when I'm not saying I will sometimes lead with, you know, like, or something similar to that, or something similar to that is actually one of them. And so when I was listening back to my radio interview, that was one thing that I noticed is like, one thing that I noticed was my overuse of a specific phrase, and I was like, oh, like, stop, don't say that again. Like, you've said it a million times in the past minute or two. What are you doing? Of course, you can't go back to the past and fix these things, but those are things that I think you learn as a radio broadcaster, as a radio interviewer, as, you know, these other roles that I don't have as much experience with, and really could make a difference to how you sound. I was trying very hard not to in that particular section, and it was just so hard to not insert those filler phrases, to insert that filler. And it's, I think, one of the key differences between people who do things like streaming, radio broadcasts, or whatever professionally versus as amateurs is their ability to learn those habits. And a lot of them become subconscious, second nature for people who do this a lot. I don't think that most content creators would be like, oh yeah, I went to a speech class and I learned not to use filler words. I learned how to pause and catch my breath instead. But it's something that they learn implicitly. How can I... Ugh. And it's also one of the reasons why, you know, I think this content style that I'm doing works better as a live stream than it would as a podcast, is because I have that game to distract me, and I have that ability to use that environment to provide me something else to distract against my, you know, tendency to overuse certain words. Oh, damn. I didn't quite get that last brown one in time. Anyway, hello, Orcast, by the way. And I don't think I said that. If I did, then here you go. I said it again. Here we go, here we go, here we go again. And here we go again. Gaming lawyer! Is that a flu symbol? My chat is slow. Hold on, I gotta wait till it gets bigger so I can see it. Oh, are you sick? I'm sorry you're sick, gaming lawyer. If you're sick. If you're not sick, then I'm sorry. What else is sick? Oh, well, then I'm glad that I didn't come out and, like, try and make you go out to lunch with me. I ended up staying in Boston this weekend rather than going out to LA as planned because Jess was sick, so... I was supposed to be in LA today. Thankfully, I did get my hotel to actually refund my reservation, even though it was non-refundable. Another thing you should be aware of, non-refundable is totally something you can talk your way out of, oftentimes. So just because a hotel reservation says it's not refundable does not mean it necessarily is. This white one on top of there, so we can easily get rid of those altogether. But yeah, so I will be flying into LA tomorrow morning / afternoon instead. Oh, I'm sorry. That sucks. Jess had viral pneumonia of some kind. Really sucks. She was just coughing constantly. And the doctor's like, look, we were supposed to fly out and see Alicia, and he was like, you know, you could fly, not dangerous for you, but you're gonna get everyone on the plane sick. So I would really rather if you could not go on a plane. And I'm like, yeah, that's how the zombie apocalypse starts. Didn't you ever see read The Stand or anything? Is that The Stand? I feel like in one of those Stephen King novels, there's like a, you know, guy makes it to an airport after escaping from the chemical biomedical facility that's had a breach before, and gets to an airplane before they catch him, and that's why the whole world catches it. Something along those lines. Hello, Mr. 32. Yeah, so I think there were 2 about a virus outbreak, and I'm not sure which I was thinking of. So The Stand is the big, long one that's about the, you know, everyone goes to Las Vegas or, I don't know, San Francisco or something like that. And then the other, Boulder and Las Vegas. Las Vegas, I guess, was the farther west one. And there was also that one where they were all stuck in the shopping mall, like with the mist. There was that one too, but I think The Stand is the one I'm thinking of. But yeah, I just remember there was one that we were talking about, like, how did this get out of here? And it turns out that the answer is, like, there's a biocontainment thing that's supposed to trigger as soon as, oops, can't lift up diamonds. As soon as, you know, this sensor goes off, there's supposed to be a containment field that kicks in and prevents any more stuff from going out. And it turns out that the door didn't actually, like, his door didn't lock in time. So he drove out and made it to the highway and made it on a plane, and then everyone... well, so I think that The Stand, like, played heavily off that trope, because The Stand was written in the 1980s, and so I think it was a similar thing, except the source of it obviously was not. I don't think the Ebola outbreak came about because of a government breach, right? So... whatever. Not gonna actually be able to get all 6 of those at once, so... okay. So probably another one of those books I've read. I mean, I read all kinds of dystopian, post-apocalyptic fiction, so it's not like I'm gonna be real specific in the memories that I have of various of them. But yeah, so overall, I definitely credit my long experience with public speaking as being the reason why I can just talk for hours and be a little bit more interesting than your average AM radio DJ. That was always my goal. I did have my mom listen in on one of my streams at one point, I guess. I think she listened in on my Pokemon Go stream, and she was like, oh yeah, you're way not as interesting as a AM radio DJ, and I was like, thanks, Mom. My Pokemon Go streams, I will admit though, were among some of my worst because they were just full of me kind of wandering around and not actually doing my usual patter, because there's so much, like, navigating in the real world is more difficult, and because Pokemon Go constantly overheated my phone at the time, and so attempting to stream while playing it was super frustrating. I do remember sitting someplace, holding a cold water bottle up against my phone, and being like, ah, this sucks. I can't stream very well on this, you know, stupid Nexus 5. And some guy, you know, is walking by with a cable sticking out of his backpack. He's like, you should get a, you know, Galaxy S7, dude, or whatever, because he was streaming as well. Yeah, so the Hot Zone, but I think the Hot Zone was the same thing, is that Marburg was not, it was something they discovered in the wild. So whatever I was thinking of was definitely like a government breach. So it was probably one of these. I don't know. Like I said, I read a million of those types of books when I was growing up. So there's nothing that I have not read probably a half dozen times. There's not that much variation in them. The writing skills may differ slightly, but oh, that was nice. Good job, me. I'll drop you here. Grab that. And there we go. Let's get some green. Alright, there we go. There's one ability that I don't use very often, which is kicking the bombs, which is I think you could do as well. But it's not one that I've ever learned to use effectively. I can't remember. Oh, you have to bomb them twice. Okay. So the little key on the side gives you a hint as to what you can do with what you have to do to the various enemies. Oh right, you have to do them twice, but like right in a row. Okay. So for these blue ones, I have to, you know, hit them and then hit them again like that in order to get them to expire. You kind of want to save your blue bombs. Oh, god damn it. Ugh. Go. Okay, so we've got 2 blue bombs. No, we got a blue bomb over here, but not 2 of them. Waiting for that second blue bomb. And the problem with these reds is that... Oh, that was dumb of me. Okay, there's my second blue bomb. So we'll go ahead and put that there. See if we can get here in time. Well, that was not quite what I wanted to do. But it will still give me what I want, I think. But yeah, so with only one red, you've actually got to have 4 bombs saved up in order to take them out. Because that's just how it works. So having that other one come down is actually really useful, and we got that as well. So that's good. Now we will try and get rid of these red bombs so we don't get any more reds. That's good. Okay. I'm gonna try and get these blues together. Or at least together enough. Get out of here, and there we go. Excellent. Okay, so now we're down to only normal characters left, which will make the rest of this much easier. But yes, I definitely read the Hot Zone when I was like pretty little. I think that that's the same author did another book that was in a similar vein, I feel like. I don't remember what. That's not Mary Roach, right? Because she wrote Stiff and a couple of other like things like that, but Mary Roach might also be the wrong name, even for those. Anyway, this is one of those cases where Jess would know all these answers. I would just be like, Jess wrote, you know, Hot Zone, and she'd be like, oh yeah, it was blah blah blah. I'm just like, I don't know how you store all this information in your head. On the other hand, I can answer numbers and dates much better than anybody else. Okay, Richard Preston. So Richard Preston did one other similar book to the Hot Zone, I think, which was, again, about infectious diseases or something. I'm glad to know that other people have the Googling bug. It's always amazing to me how, like, to what extent people are just, like, not able to Google things for themselves. You know, so often I'll see like people who like there's a quote and people are like, oh, where's that quote come from? Like, I can't figure it out. And I'm like, did you just try typing any portion of it into Google? Because that's like a thing Google can do for you. The Demon in the Freezer, that's right. That is 100% the book I was thinking of. Which I don't think I ever read, so I don't actually know what it's about, but I know it's another similar style of book. Alright, that was fine. I will take that any day. Go ahead and get rid of this pink before we get any more. And do this. Hello, Soy Bomb, how's it going? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Alright. We're just gonna take these woods out. Yeah, so like it takes you 10 seconds to answer this with Google. Like literally all you have to do is type some words in from the quotes are the thing that gets me the most. Like if you just type in like 5 unique words from a quote, most of the time it's going to give you the rest of the quote. And people just don't get that, and I'm just like, I don't want to like, you know, shame people for not understanding this particular thing, but there are people who are like good at computers and good at like understanding things in general and have a lot of, you know, experience in being on the internet, and they're just like, wait, I can just like Google the words from a phrase? Ooh, my stream is like really sad. You thought it was just you? Well, tell me if it seems a little bit better now. OBS seems to be happy again. So I'm gonna assume at the moment it's happy, but if it does get sad again, let me know. I can lower my bitrate a bit. I think it's my Wi-Fi router. I rebooted it earlier today, but it's not, still was not looking happy. And I ran a speed test while connected to the Ethernet, and it was fine. But unfortunately, I don't have any way to get Ethernet to my office, which is in the upstairs from the downstairs, so Right. What do I want to do here? I'm gonna take this. No, that wasn't quite what I was thinking, but okay. Alright, fine. Yeah, so the reason I did Wario's Woods first, Soy Bomb, is that I have a tendency to play Wario's Woods at the very end of my streams, and it always takes way longer than I think it's going to die. So I wanted to get like one full round of Wario's Woods in before I like stopped playing. And so that was the reason for that decision making, which I understand is not always the most popular. Oh, I should have. I didn't change the game title. I think I have it set to Tetris. I wasn't really thinking about that, but okay. Let's go ahead and take you out of here and boom. Gold, gold. Give me the gold. Nope. So yeah, we're, I don't know, 30-ish minutes into the stream, and I'm still showing no signs of stopping. We are here to rock. Are you ready to rock? Alright. These reds all lined up. Oh no! Well, there we go. Rid of that. Okay, so now we got a blue on an angle here. We got a green there. Go ahead and take this blue out. There we go. Line up these greens for when we get that next. Crap. Meant to do that, and then grab this. Go. Hey. Yeah, I don't think that I have the ability to blast the fairy at the top. Pretty sure that's not a thing, but I will keep that advice in mind. We got Birdo out there just hanging out. She's having a good time. Or they. I don't know. I don't know the correct pronoun to use for Birdo. I think she. Birdo prefers to be called she. One of the first trans video game characters. I don't think it's flipping the bird. I mean, Birdo just only has so many digits to share with us, so. Alright. How was your Monday, Soy Bomb? Tuned in a little bit for your Banjo-Kazooie earlier, or Banjo-Tooie earlier. As I said, the last time I remember playing a puzzle stream was quite a while ago. So these are definitely games that I use routinely as filler at the end of my streams, Wario's Woods in particular, but rarely do a full stream worth of them. Hence the motivation to go ahead and do that today. In part because I have been playing Tetris on Twitter. So I was commenting earlier that I have been playing Tetramoji. Tetra, which is a someone has a Twitter account now where you get to vote on the next move in a Twitter poll and choose what you want to do with the Tetris pieces. This is what brought up my interest in Tetris, which I've been playing a couple times this weekend. Oh, that's right, and you all don't have a. It's only a holiday in the U.S., so it's not a holiday for you. Ah, oh, damn it! I wanted to get rid of that. Get rid of those reds. Failed again. We'll take this blue over here. Yeah, that was one thing. Well, I mean, I think the biggest problem that I have with Banjo-Kazooie, and I assume that this is the same with Banjo-Tooie as well, is the need to 100% everything in order to progress is really kind of frustrating to me. I don't know. I really liked Banjo-Kazooie, and if I could have gotten away with not getting like every single thing in every single level, I likely would have finished it. But as it was like I don't really feel the need to. I hate completionism. Oh, okay. Well, so in Banjo-Kazooie, I feel like you have to in order to progress, don't you? In order to get past the various gating things. That was what I read from the internet anyway. So yes, my personal preference is never to 100% things. I am always trying to get through as quickly as possible. Yeah, I was just thinking about Banjo-Kazooie. Like, in Banjo-Kazooie, do you need to 100% things in order to progress? Because that was what I thought from reading online guides or something, but maybe I was wrong. I just felt like I was able to make it through the gates, but then I would have to backtrack later to pick up the things that I had missed. I don't know. It's been a while, and maybe I'm misremembering. Or never knew the right thing in the first place, more likely. Okay. Let's get rid of this and do there. There we go. Get back here, coin. There we go. I don't really know, like, the coins really don't matter since I'm unlikely to continue with any number of credits that I have, but still pick them up every time anyway. Gotcha. Yeah, so I don't like completionist games. It's one of the reasons why I tend to do very poorly in Zelda games, is that I tend to try to complete them without being a completionist, and I don't have the skill for that. So then I just get stuck at some point, and I'm like, I don't want to backtrack and pick up all these extra heart pieces, so I'm just done. It was interesting actually watching Snacklet Cat, one of the other members of the Retro Squad, which includes Soy Bomb and Stingray as well, who was playing the original Legend of Zelda for, I think, her first time, and seeing someone who didn't understand like how the candle worked or where to bomb for some things and other things like that, and I was like, oh, like this is something even I know. An inflatable dinosaur boss, well, that sounds like it's definitely worth it. I don't know how I've ever lived without an inflatable dinosaur boss in my life. But I think when I get back, so let's see, this week I'm going to be in LA. I should be back for stream on Friday, as far as I know. I think my flight out is like 8 a.m. LA time, which means they'll probably be landing here around 7 p.m. Boston time, which makes it possible to do a stream. Won't be a long one probably, but I can pick something short and modern to play maybe. Could also put together something else from the Labo kit maybe. Not sure. Go. And then... Right, so LA tomorrow through Friday. Friday, do another short modern stream. I don't have any plans for the following Monday. That will be my first day on my new team. And then on Friday of that week, so that'll be on June 8th? Yeah, on June 8th, I'm pretty sure, because my anniversary is the next day. I am planning or thinking about playing a open source game written by one of my coworkers. So it's a Metroid 2-ish game, or a Super Metroid-ish game, based on, only instead of it being platforming, it's like a flying ship. And it's open source. So I figured, you know, what better way to celebrate my new job in open source than by playing an open source game written by a coworker. Filling out that wall. Soybomb's building a wall, but it's a different kind of wall. It's a wall of joy, a wall of text, a wall of enjoyment for him and all of our friends here at the Chris Plays Games channel. Hello, FIFA Tommy. Yeah, I need to remember what it's called now. But yeah, it looks it's very much inspired by Super Metroid. I mean, we know that I don't really love a lot of backtracking in games, so we'll see how it goes as far as that goes, but it seems like an interesting thing to do. And then, let's see, what else can I think of? Timmy, Tommy, it's all the same. I'm sorry, Timmy. I don't know why I do that. It's a personal fall. Steamed hams. You and your steamed hams. I don't understand that meme. I don't know how that became a meme. That episode is from like a bajillion years ago. Like, why did that become the meme? Alright, what do we got next? Nothing interesting. Just more of the same. I mean, it's reasonable. Like, I should call you by your name. The fact that I can't read while streaming is really a fatal flaw. I should work on that. I mean, but there's a lot of Simpsons episodes that are palpable. Oh no! Oh no! Ah! I wanted to put that on top, not at an angle. Alright, whatever. Fine. Everything's fine. No problems here. I was a little bit disappointed the by age 35 memes died down this week. I was hoping they were going to continue with Market Watch doubling down on their position that millennials were just, you know, just hated being told what to do, as opposed to the fact that they're suffering from an absolute failure of our culture to provide for meaningful employment for many of them, despite having invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in education at the, you know, insistence of their elders and betters. You hated those. I loved them. Oh, they were great. You don't think you have the brain for this game? Just like, you know, you just gotta form the right brain. It's like, you know, when you're playing Portal, you have to form the Portal brain. You know, that's another thing I do all the time. Constantly. You know? No, I don't know. Stop telling me I know. Just tell me. What am I gonna do here? I'm gonna do this. And the funny thing is, I call people out for that in videos all the time. Like when we were doing the lounges, and a lot of my lounge viewing would end up being like critiques of the content we were watching, I would constantly complain about anyone who used the phrase, you know, and then listening to myself, I do it constantly. And I'm like, oh, I am the problem. But yeah, I mean, the 35 memes were... I think the fact that you did very little of them was exactly the joke. So and this might not have been clear without like the context of the original thing, but the context that created the 35 memes was the so Market Watch put out an article that was like, by you know, the time you're 35, you should have saved at least 3 times your salary or something silly like that. And the problem with that, of course, is that most people are, a huge number of people in today's economy are barely existing at, you know, subsistence levels. They're not able to save for retirement. because they're not even able to pay the rent barely, or have a car, or any luxuries or anything else like that. And so the joke behind the memes was always like, hey, yeah, you there's no way you could have done this because no one can achieve these goals. Now, of course, some of them ended up being different than that because, I mean, memes evolve. And so they were like, became jokes about things that, of course, you should have that are kind of silly. And so I think the one about, by the time you're 35, you should have, you know, two good friends, and have, you know, 700 people who you're willing to argue, like you just argue with the internet, argue about stuff on the internet with, is very clearly like, or seemed very clearly to me to be a play on the fact that, you know, we've all gotten ourselves into the, or many of us have gotten ourselves into the situation where that's the way it is. And I also think that a lot of them, because they were written at that particular, you know, generational gap, were targeting this kind of very narrow niche. Okay, so I want to save for one more red. Ah. That was not how I wanted that to go. Damn it. Okay. Take this. Give me 2 red bombs. That's not a red bomb. Alright, that's a red bomb. No, 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 no. Okay. And no! God damn it. Maybe will this just get rid of them? Yes! Alright, cool. Yeah, so almost all of them were jokes. And so like the one that was like, by the age of 35, you should have learned to vertically center a div at least once in your lifetime. The joke behind that is that vertically centering a div is one of those things, with CSS, is one of those things that you really, especially for a long time, was extremely difficult to do. And now with modern CSS rules, it has gotten easier as long as you're willing to abandon support for a number of browsers and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. Another thing that I do all the time. But it's a really hard thing to do, and so you can't do it. Just like saving money for retirement by the age of 35. Whereas some of them I thought were just hilarious, like, you know, by the age of 35, you should you should have, you know, at least one fork in your drawer that you look at funny every time you pull it out. And I definitely have had that experience. I guess they really kind of fell into 2 buckets, and I just found both sides amusing. Being 34 and looking at them probably also means that I was right in the sweet spot for the age thing there. Oh yeah, pensions are dead. I was amazed actually to learn that my dad, when he retired, actually still had a pension. That was not a thing that I realized that people still had. But of course he started working in like 1977-ish for Bell Labs, AT&T Bell Labs. Well, a company that was acquired by AT&T to become part of Bell Labs. I think it was Skokie Telecom when he started working there. So not super surprising at that point, but it was weird to me because I definitely just think of like pensions. Those are things that like teachers, cops, and people in their 80s get, is basically how I think of pensions. But yeah, I think the vast majority of them were making fun of the fact that the original article had basically been a completely unachievable goal. And not taking into account the realities, like from an economic magazine, not taking into account the realities of the economy is just dumb. Like, and then they doubled down on it too. Even after like their article became a freaking joke, they were still like, oh look, like everyone hates us because we suggested you should save money, but you really need to save money. It's like, yeah, I don't disagree, I should save money. Where is that money gonna come from? Like, I don't, like, it's not in my bank account. It's not like I'm spending it on things. I don't have luxuries other than my occasional avocado toast. And guess what? Like, 1 avocado toast per week is not going to save much money for my retirement. no one is disagreeing that your advice is sensible from a financial standpoint. We're disagreeing that it's plausible from a practical standpoint for many of the people that you're targeting with the advice. He's out of here. Ah. Pull the red out and drop it in. Okay. Okay. Not exactly the way I would have loved to have that go, but whatever. So yeah, our economy is fundamentally broken, especially for people who join. And it's actually interesting to me that, so I'm kind of a weird state. Relative to most of my peers, I ended up at a lucky point in the labor market because I joined the labor market at a young age for my age. So I joined the labor market in 2004, which is before most of my peers did, because most of my peers who graduated college in 2002 probably wouldn't have been entering until 2006 or 2007. And just those few years difference makes a huge difference, because if you got a job, keeping a job became much more straightforward. Like that's not really a shock with the way that the economy works. People only want to hire people with experience and not anyone without experience, even for entry-level positions, which sucks, but is the reality. And the... And so for me, because I entered the labor market, the labor pool, before kind of the crash of 2007, 2008, I ended up in this lucky spot that a lot of my peers didn't. Now, and everything varies a little bit. You know, I can look at people who I work with now who have entered much after that. If you're in technology and have a degree from a good university, it's possible to get things that you might not otherwise be able to get. Working in a city with a tight labor market helps, blah, blah, blah. But it's still interesting to look at the differences that had I finished college, I might not have found it as easy to get a job. Which is kind of not how it's supposed to work. Like, the default expectation is that if you go to college, it should help you. And just due to timing, I think that I'm luckier that I did not go to college. This actually isn't the only thing that I had. I also, amusingly, because I was going to a conference in South Africa, I ended up taking money out of my 401k as a loan in 2008, early 2008, which was basically right before the markets crashed. And so during the time I was repaying the loan, the price of those like stocks in my 401k like dropped precipitously. And so had I kept that money in and not taken a loan, I think I would have actually come out, like, usually the idea is you don't take out 401k loans because you want that money in your 401k to keep making money for you. But because I took out a loan at just the right time and then repaid it over the next couple of years, like, as I repaid it, I paid back in at a different price than what I sold it at and actually made money on the deal. So, hello, Rin. No need to be sorry. Always happy to have you here, as well as Brad, who can't hear me. Hello, Brad. Alright, what do we got? Oh, those I can only do on angles. Well, yeah. I do have the most amazing luck. Yeah, I mean, that was definitely... Yeah. I have had a lot of shit happen to me in my day. There is no doubt on that. But there's also been a lot of really lucky things that have happened for me that have allowed me to get to where I am. And I don't like, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, you're just like, you're so amazing and do all this other thing. I'm like, no, I'm not that amazing. I've gotten so lucky in so many different things that I've done. Whether it was, I mean, like, I'm a college dropout. I think most people who've been here a bunch probably know that. So I dropped out of school after 2 years, basically because, well, I guess for a couple of reasons. Like, one obvious reason was I spent the summer with Jess and I didn't want to go back to school after that. But another part of it was the fact that, let's see, here, Okay, so I need to get you in the corner. And then put you there. Okay, so now I just need a red. Ugh. So many things! Oh, I got more reds coming in too. Now let's get all these. Oh, this won't actually blow up any pinks, will it? God. Yeah, so the diamonds will blow up any creatures of that color, but they won't blow up the... They won't blow up the bombs of that color. Alright, let's go ahead and look that up. There we go. Yeah, so I've gotten super lucky. Oh, right, so I dropped out of school. I took a job for a year. Then Jessica got herself into Wellesley, and so we moved down to Cambridge. And I was like, okay, well, I will just like be an independent contractor, and it'll be fine. Like, I'm sure I can find contract work. So I took on part-time work, or I switched to like an hourly contract position with my previous employer, and I switched to and then I started looking for other work. And it ended up being that I really did not end up finding a lot of stuff in that space. But luckily enough for me, somehow someone who knew me pointed me out to Mark Andreessen, or to this like person who was running a startup. So it was a Mark Andreessen startup, and so he's the one who actually emailed me. I remember getting his email and like looking in my inbox and being like, Mark Andreessen, I feel like I should know that name, but I don't know why I know that name. And I had to look it up, and I'm like, oh, like inventor of Netscape. Like, okay, well, at least I know why I know that name now. And so I ended up working on something that gave me like full, basically like as many hours as you can work, contract work, doing that. And without that, like, I was living in Cambridge. We were living in a house that cost, you know, even in 2000, I don't know, whatever that was, 2005, was costing us $3,100 a month. And that was before like a lot of the huge rent raises that we've had in Cambridge since then. And there's no way. And then so we had three roommates. I don't know. We were supposed to split the rent 4 ways, and I would have played 2 of them, right? So it's like Jess and I paid half of the rent, and then our 2 roommates paid another half of the rent. And it turns out that they didn't ever pay rent. So it was very much lucky that I got this job that had a really good, what seemed to me at the time like a really good hourly rate. And for the skills that I had, probably was a pretty good hourly rate. It's less than I would charge now, but now I have, 15 years of experience in the industry. It's a pretty different situation. So yeah, I got paid $100 an hour to do programming as a college dropout. It was pretty good. I am too the best Tetris player. Just giving Brad a little bit of typing there since he's got no sound in his office. Oh, okay. What do we got here? We got this. Come on. There. That was what I was trying to do. Dropping shit on top of me. What do we want here? Pop that one on an angle. I think the bird is not pissed off, but I could be wrong. I think we discussed earlier whether Birdo is actually flipping me off. My position is no. Birdo just only has 2 fingers. Okay, what do we got? So this weekend was a conference called WisCon, which I probably never have heard of before. But this year I had probably 3 or 4 different people from my timeline, Twitter timeline, who went to WisCon. It was interesting to see some of the stuff from there. I think it's I don't actually know what the conference is, but it had a lot of interesting topics around WisCon, like Wisconsin without the sin at the end. I'm wondering if it's like the Women in Science Fiction conference. I looked it up at one point, but now I can't remember what it was. But it was like had a lot of interesting topics, and one of them was actually like the dystopian aspects of like dystopia and corporate control. And so it was interesting to look at some of the tropes that were brought up there versus Google's communications policies. So there was discussion of how, attempting to control how people, feel and react. There you go. Feminist science fiction. Okay. So it's not necessarily women in science fiction, but it is a feminist science fiction conference. And so it was really interesting to read some of the stuff from that, from one of my coworkers who has been affected by some of the overall drama inside of Google recently, and how you should communicate and other things like that. So it was definitely thought-provoking, but Google's communications policy requires you to disclose that you work at Google and your opinions are your own and not those of your employer. And it is interesting to look at that policy. Oh, and so one of the things that they encourage you to do is to like denote that you work at Google with like a Twitter hashtag. So they encourage you to say like hashtag best job or hashtag love my job or other things like that. And it's such a silly, like, you're required to do this, to give this disclosure, even if like you're talking badly about your products. And so it's like a running joke in our like with coworkers online, is that whenever I'm complaining about something that Google has done that I'm upset about, I like add hashtag love my job to it because I'm technically required to, and it's dumb. Of course, you could disclose in other ways. You could disclose, I'm a Google employee and my opinion is my own and not that of my employer. But the hashtag love my job is a great semi-sarcastic way to meet the letter of the law while also pointing out how utterly foolish rules like this can be. This does not feel like it's going well for me. I definitely am not feeling too good about this one. All right. Nice little recovery, though. Hello, Matus. Welcome to the stream. You're really, I mean, you're going on like 3 years now, and I don't think that I've ever seen a repeat from you. I am really impressed. Like, if there's someone, if there were giving out awards for like the most, like the best improv on as a YouTube gaming chatter, I do think that Matus deserves to be in a strong consideration for that role, because that award, because I'm just consistently impressed with that. We'll go ahead and bomb those. Give me some freaking light blue bombs. Seriously? Nothing? Alright, it's fine. It's fine. Go ahead and go grab this. Grab that. And this is one of the like times when really getting getting rid of all of a certain color makes a big difference is because those in-between rounds where they give you more pieces just end up being so painful because you can be down to one freaking enemy left and then get back all the way to square one if you're not careful. Alright. So this is level 42. This is about where I usually get. We've been playing for about an hour, which again is my usual amount of time. And is why we did Wario's Woods first, even though I know not everyone loves Wario's Woods. Was really to make sure that I got a full solid round in here. My Tetris rounds last about 10 minutes by comparison, so much less involved. Well, you continue to be very impressive. I know at one point you mentioned you were not sure how long you were going to be able to continue, and you have stuck to it pretty much every time, and I continue to be impressed. All right. So it is interesting though, you do tend to get like a harder level followed by a handful of easier levels. So you can see here that we have none of the like have to hit them twice in this level. That definitely makes those levels a lot easier. All right. Thank you all for being here and hanging out with me. I still enjoy streaming and talking to you. I enjoy practicing this, but I also just enjoy playing games. I don't call it Chris Plays Games for nothing. Alright. Alrighty. Go ahead and get that out of here. Take this green out of here, pop that. Oh no! Fuck. Ah, well. Alright. Oh, so this weekend I finally got around to watching The Karate Kid. Oh, these are weird. Oh, these are just angles. More angles. Okay. So yeah, I got around to watching The Karate Kid finally. Despite being released in the same year I was born, I have never seen it. I thought it was a good movie. I think there was a lot of very 80s things about it. Some interesting things that I had not really thought about. LA used to have smog. This actually came up in another context recently with Trump working to cut back on emissions regulations. It's possible that some people are going to experience, you know, if we're not careful, we could see a return of smog, which has basically been gone for a long time. I know that smog in LA was like a trope back when I was, you know, growing up. But for a long time now, I think it's basically been something that isn't a daily part of people's lives outside of China, I guess. Where I think there is still very much a smog problem. And I thought that that was an interesting thing to realize as we look at our stepping back from emission regulations and other things like that. So yeah, I definitely liked Karate Kid. It was definitely worth watching. So I appreciate people who recommended that I check it out. I definitely took like a bunch of notes while I was watching it, and you know, things like I like that the Cobra Kais get like the hardcore 80s synth noise. It's the first time we really hear heavy kind of 80s synths is when the Cobra Kais are chasing Daniel on his bike and like running him down the hill. I thought it was interesting that the Halloween party did not have a whole lot of, you know, slutty nurse type costumes, which have now become kind of a trope of Halloween. You know, you can wear anything you want on your last day or on Halloween. I'm not sure if that's just because it was like a kid's movie, or if that's because that kind of tendency towards more revealing outfits is something that showed up later in life. The whole scene in Jersey felt very gritty and grimy, but then the scenes in LA did too. And so I'm not sure if this is a matter of, you know, whether this is LA and New Jersey, whether this is, you know, how things looked at that time, or if maybe there's just been a kind of shift towards cleaner urban environments. Like I said, this movie dates to literally the year I was born, so I don't actually have a lot of experience with what cities looked like in that time, and I didn't move to a city until, you know, 2005. I grew up in the far west suburbs where none of my experiences were anything like city life. I did practice my crane kicks, just a little bit. I determined I am no good at crane kicks. Ow, fuck. That was not what I wanted to do. God damn it. Oh well. Get a couple of things out of here. Okay. I want to get rid of this white one so I can stop having whites. No whites allowed. There we go. No more whites. Solve that racial problem. Tell you that much. Alright, let's get out of here. Oop. Oh. No! God damn it. Alright. Not super awesome, but whatever. Not Dr. Mario at the moment, my friend, my buddy, my pal, my AWOL. Are you on vacation still? If you're on vacation, you should be vacationing. Enjoy the beach, the sun, something. I don't know. Hello, AWOL. What do I want to do here? I want to put these here, and then I'm gonna pop one in. Oh, crap. Ah! Yes! Oh, no! Oh, I thought I got it just in time. Fuck. Alright. This may be the beginning of the end. Oh, why did I do that? I don't have another red. Oh, and you're not gonna give me another red. Of course you're not. Oh. Okay, we got one red. Okay. Grab this red, and then grab this red. There we go. Ooh, okay. Got that blue. Got me another blue. Blue bomb, blue bomb, blue bomb. Alright, what do we got now? Okay. That is the first of 2 weeks. Okay. Flying to Oregon on Thursday. I hope you travel safe, my friend. I'll be flying, or Tuesday? Thursday. Okay. I'm sorry, I can't read. I'll be flying to LA tomorrow on Tuesday. And then, yeah. It's not bad. Okay. Go ahead and drop this here. Oh, that was not what I meant. That's fine. You'll get in, get another one in there. Yep. Fuck LA. Oh man. It's a strong LA opinion. I don't have that strong of an LA opinion. I am kind of glad that I didn't end up going to Palm Springs this weekend like I was planning to, because it was like 100 and blankety blank degrees, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck that. Alright. We will grab this pink and kill these. Goodbye. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and take these out as well. Okay, so I want 2 blue bombs. Okay, there we go. 1 blue bomb and 2. Oh no! Oh! Yet. Okay, well, that didn't go quite as planned, but it worked out. One of the worst cities on Earth? Really? I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't really have very strong opinions on cities because I don't know what I would call the worst city on Earth. Let's see. No, like Miami? Like you like Florida cities better than LA? That seems wrong. Just like fundamentally wrong to me. Okay, well, as long as you agree that Miami is terrible too, then I think we can at least agree that that's a thing. Okay, what do we got? Need... I mean, in this case, the criteria is AWOL doesn't like it, so pretty broad criteria we're going with at the moment. Okay, we got rid of all of the browns. Brown is actually my eldest daughter's birth name. She was Alicia Gale. Oh, was she born LaVarnway? She was born to a Brown. I don't know how they actually named her. I just realized that. No, she would have been, I don't know. Wow, I feel really, like, I don't even know what name my daughter had when she was born. I am clearly a shitty parent. Alright. Okay, green, oh god, green is not gone. Okay, let's get rid of pink. And... oh, what? I got you twice. Okay. Ah. There we go. Oh, that was close. I mean, you have to keep in mind that, like, these things are all going to be weighted differently depending on each individual person. There are definitely a lot of ways in which Tokyo would be a bad city for me. It's way too dense, and I'm a pretty big fan of crowds, and Tokyo is still too dense. So, I think that, like, that's certainly the case, but Tokyo is also very clean, has excellent public transportation, has, you know, a lot of things that are going for it that can help override a lot of the general, like, this is a big city problems. And so, you know, it really depends on what you're looking for. Yeah. I mean, this is, I think, a common... Oh, so, AWOL, I think that, so one of the things I learned recently is that, like 14 of my high school classmates moved to Colorado, which I found interesting. Like, there's no other state, as far as I can tell, that's not like Illinois or like Iowa maybe, that has as many people living in it from my high school class as Colorado. I got friends in Longmont, in Edgewood, in like a couple other cities around Denver, and I thought that was just an interesting An interesting coinky-dink. Or not coincidence. I mean, I think a lot of it is that Colorado is one of the closer places you can move to Illinois that has just something worth living in. All right. That wasn't really what I wanted to do, but sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Tell them to leave, they're ruining it. I mean, I don't think they're gonna listen to me. They didn't listen to me when I was in high school. I doubt they'd listen to me now. I was just helping a friend figure out, like, whether she could switch to, like, whether she could ditch cable TV. She's moving and trying to save a little bit of money. She's trying to figure out whether she could ditch cable TV. She's having a very hard time understanding how the Roku worked. She was like, but who do I pay the monthly service to? And I'm like, the monthly service for what? She's like, well, for my TV. And I'm like, I don't know if you get how this works. Like, the Roku is just a physical box that lets you watch whatever things you already pay for, so. Alright. I feel like I can kick these somehow, but I haven't actually had time to figure out how. There we go. Okay, let's go. Bring on the next round. So yeah, this is an hour and 15 minutes in. We're still on our first coin. Probably tells you this was never an arcade game. It's not something that would happen in the arcade game world. It's kind of funny, at one point I was playing in a local barcade and I was like, oh, this game has like Super Mario, like I can play through the whole Super Mario game, so I'm not even gonna have to, like, I'll just play through the whole game and it'll be a cool play. I can beat the game and it's fine. Like I can beat Mario without needing to continue about 50-75% of the time at this point. And then I realized that this machine, which was all just like a bunch of, it was basically like an emulator with a bunch of NES games on it. I assume it was, you know, original NES hardware packaged up in an arcade format, it had a timer. And so, like, in addition to not dying, you also were timed. And that totally was like, well, then that's not how that's supposed to work. All right, let's go ahead and take this out of here. All right, we are screwed. All right. Isn't it great? I was gonna actually go out, so our closest, like, real barcade, like full on, lots of machines, everything else like that, is actually in Salem, which is about a like 45-minute drive or train ride. But they were actually open today. Usually they're not open during the daytime, but they were open today because it was Memorial Day. I was gonna go up there, but then I was lazy instead. I was like, I'm gonna be gone. Like, I'm not gonna go and do a bunch of stuff today. Like, I'm gonna be gone all next week. I don't want to deal with it. So, but yeah, so Bit Bar is our local one, and then, okay, I need to get Alright, you go in there and I'll drop this. Excellent. Okay, so we are not so screwed. We have a chance still. Actually looking pretty decent. Not great, but decent. Among all of these terrible words millennials are using nowadays, I really like barcade. I assume that you like the fact that the thing exists more than you really care about the word aspect of it, though. Like, there needs to be a word for arcade that has alcohol. Because there are enough of them that that's not like a singular place. And stack this up. I'm no wizard. Wizard was a movie about Super Mario Bros. 3 released in around the same time as Super Mario Bros. 3, I think. That is not me. Alright, what we got here? Ah. Grabbed that one out of the air, just couldn't move fast enough. Ah, I should have waited on that one. Could have gotten rid of all the pinks. There we go. You should definitely get Chinese. I would say sesame chicken, orange chicken, is definitely much more what you're in the mood for tonight. Karate Kid did make me cry when I watched it. There were definitely at least 2 parts in there where I cried. I thought that the... What was it? The tie-in to Japanese internment was definitely something that I had not expected. That's, you know, one of the saddest things in American history is basically putting Japanese people in concentration camps, not killing them, but, you know, sticking them all in a cage in a specific spot because we were afraid that they would do, I don't know, whatever. It's a real disappointing part of our history, and to have that kind of pop up in there, especially as I'm looking at all of this discussion of, you know, Border Patrol and ICE taking these very Gestapo-like tactics here in the USA today, caught me off guard. I cry all the time at movies. I am a huge cry. I cry more at movies than I do at anything else, and it's constant. So I am definitely not like it should not be surprising to anyone if I ever cry at a movie. I cry at every Disney movie. I cry at everything. I've got problems, man. All right, what do we got here? We're gonna drop this here. Pull this out. Oh, not how I wanted to use that, but got it off the screen, so. When he won, and they all like rushed the stage or the mat and like lifted him up, and what's his face? Johnny was like, you know, well done, like shook his hand. I thought that was very sweet. I want one of these, that's right. That's all I wanted. Just leaving that stuff in the upper left corner for now. I know it's there. I'll get around to it eventually. Oh no! Oh, I was so close to getting into the white. Okay. I got rid of all the white people. Oh no, I didn't. I've got one more over there. Okay, so that's fine. We can do this. We're gonna pick this guy up here. Alright, got rid of the white. Got rid of most of the blue. Need to get this bomb out of here. There we go. Oh, except now we got more blue. Oh well. Same. I had the right idea. My heart was in the right place. Other than that, what do I do? Oh yeah, I continue watching Deep Space Nine this weekend. So I'm currently about halfway through season 4. And I'm continuing to marvel at how long the seasons are. I have been just like, every time I'm like, oh, the season's done, but it's like 26 episodes per season, and I don't think I've watched a show with 26 episodes per season in a long time. Another thing that only recently occurred to me is like how much there's like representation of like black actors and women and other things like that, even in roles of authority in the show. Like that's something that I don't know, I don't feel like you saw as much of that in other things, and I think that this has always been kind of a hallmark of Star Trek, is that I think they had the first lesbian kiss on screen. They've had like all of these things that are kind of firsts because they've targeted this, but it didn't actually occur to me until I was watching an episode where Sisko and Jake go back to Earth, and Sisko is eating in his dad's restaurant, and I'm like there are 3 black actors on this screen. Like that's not something that I see in many of the TV shows I watch, and it didn't even occur to me. It's not like it was a special, like that special of an episode. Like it was Jake and Sisko who were in a bunch of episodes, and then his dad. But yeah, it was kind of interesting to realize that there was so much, minority, relatively speaking, minority representation in that show. And again, probably not unusual for Star Trek. I think I've read various pieces calling out that Star Trek has always kind of been a leader in various types of representation, but I hadn't really thought about it until that episode. Drop that. Nope, that was not what I wanted to do. Not that that actually helps either. I think that's it. I think I'm done. Yep. 49. No, we're not gonna continue. Okay. Now I can open my, yeah, okay. So I think I made it to about the same spot because my round select went up to 45, so alrighty. I think I've actually got Tetris. Oh, nope. I don't, because of silly reasons, but that's okay. Tetris. Open this one. Tonight we are drinking the Artifact Wild Thing. So that is the cider we're going to open up here. Artifact Wild Thing single varietal craft cider. Wild Thing is a crisp, tart, 100% Macintosh cider with exotic aromatics and a balanced finish. Not really, but okay. So let's go ahead and pop this open. Cheers. Another thing, like, I was watching the show, and I was like, oh, the reason that the YouTube show is called Cobra Kai is because that's the name of the, like, gang in in this, and I was like, oh, now I get it. Like, that's where they got the name from. Yeah. Which I had not known before. Of course, I put something down and immediately the long piece comes out. That's just how it works. Let's get back down to the basics here, lay it back down, build it back up. Yeah, like I said, the reason that we are playing puzzle games tonight is I've been playing a lot of Tetris on Twitter. I have gotten into some little minor disagreements with other players of Emoji Tetris about what the appropriate move to make is, so it brought me into a mood of wanting to play some Tetris here tonight. Let's kill it. Yes! That's actually a thing that in the bigger cities, in Cambridge, that's been a thing for a long time now. Foodler has been my life for, oh my gosh, so long at this point. Alright, there we go. We're gonna get a Tetris there. Excellent. But I think it's been making it its way out to the rest of the world slowly. I did get a Tetris. I did. Not gonna do that this time though. There's gonna be 2 lines. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what, you know, looking at very targeted interactions is really what that whole Google Home whatever thing is. What they call it? Duplex? Duplo? I don't know, something like that. And people are all freaked out because they're like, oh my gosh, what if it like buys your stock wrong for you? It's like, no, we didn't program some kind of like general knowledge AI that can do everything for you. We programmed a robot with a call tree. Like the fact that the call tree is capable of making restaurant phone calls is because that's one that we know that people, or hair appointments or whatever, is because that's one thing that we know we want to do. And I think it requires relatively little state information to be maintained. And if you look at the other, you know, potentials for that technology, I think ordering food is a pretty obvious one as well. All right. Bum 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 bum. That's fine. Put that over there. We'll get 3 out of this. It's not too bad. Not quite the Tetris we would have liked, but yeah, so in Boston, in Cambridge, I have been living off of Foodler since 2008, 2007 maybe, and it's great. It really is. It's such a difference. Of course, it used to be that like all those places would also deliver for free because I assume someone was funding it out of venture capital or something like that, and a lot of that's gone away. So now I have to pay, but I would have to pay for delivery anyway. There's a lot of places that before didn't even do delivery until they had like a system that they could hook into to set that up, so. Sex bots for Mike. Gonna be the new project name. Fuck. 1 shy of the Tetris. Ah, well. I feel like that was one that I probably could have done better somehow and gotten it to go right, but I don't know how it would have. How's it gonna be when you don't know me anymore? How? See, I told you. I could see it in Brad's eyes, even though I can't see his eyes and he can't hear me. I don't know what I'm doing now. This is all bad. Oh, that was not what I meant to do. Good job, CPG. Let's just one line, 4-piece. Excellent. This is gonna make people upset. Hello, Rosa Lucas. Welcome to the stream. Alright, let's go ahead and slide this in here. Slide into my DMs. Ugh. Ugh, everything's busted. All my pieces are busted. We'll grab a Tetris anyway. Bow, 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 bow. Like that timing. A decent showing. Nice entry point into the Tetris portion of the evening. I don't really feel the need to scum lines here. I don't know what I want to do in the middle now. Got at least a few Tetrises in there, which is something I don't get every time I play. The key thing I have when I get up to this point in the game is that my goal is to keep my line count low. I tend to be very bad at making the quick decisions, or really deciding what to do with the next piece before it drops in is something that I have no skill at. So for me, at this point, everything is about making sure that I give myself as much time to think as possible as these pieces drop in. Oh my god, this is so ugly. I don't, like, I'm sure I messed up something in there, but it did not feel like there was a super obvious set of choices I could have made that were different. Please get me a line out of here. Other. Drop the T right in, drop this over here. Make the flat spot. Fuck! that did not go where I wanted it to. I can say that with quite a lot of certainty. Yeah, this is what I was talking about when I say, like, I just get totally flummoxed and screw up everything. This is the point where that happens, so you know that it's not long for this world at this point. Oh! Oh, I can't slide in any farther. God damn it. I was hoping I could at least get 2 off of that, but I can't. Oh, now the music is speeding up. That's helpful. Ah! Freaks me out! God damn it. I wanted to at least get that. Why is there a Christmas song in the background? That's the Tetris music. Hey, well, I don't even bother putting on pants for delivery people anymore. Alright, we're gonna try and get to at least level 10. That'll probably be my highest score for the evening, but... Oh, why are you giving me lines now? I don't want lines. Oh, this is Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy? Oh, I also should have put on the other music. There's 3 music tracks. Put on one of the other ones. Alright. Now we're ready for a Tetris, and we're pretty clean. We got no big gaps. Really want one of these L's to go the other way. I'll just drop this in here, clear one line. There are 2 lines out of the bottom here. Get myself into a nice position to pick up this one. And go back towards building for a Tetris. But yes, this is the default Tetris music. Oh, you know what? I haven't set myself up really well here, have I? This actually now need 2 lines in order to do anything with this. Oh, I should have put that on the other side. Yeah, so Tetris has a really weird and interesting story with its like licensing history. So basically, and it's complicated, and I don't know it that well. Oh, I don't actually even want to do that, do I? Ugh, I didn't realize I'd left 3 there. I should have filled in more of that. Okay, so let's just go in here. Let's try again. See if we can build back up. Oop, left a gap. But last for that long. Fine. So, and I'm gonna get portions of this wrong, but basically there were 2 guys who built Tetris in Russia. And Russia was communist at the time. This was the 1980s. It was before, you know, the fall of the Soviet Union. And so, in order to sell something, there was this whole, like, huge process you had to go through with the state. And so these guys were approached because there was someone in the US who wanted to sell the game. They wanted to license the game to sell it in the US. And yeah, and there are definitely people who can tell this story better than I can, so you can probably look them up on Google. But I'm gonna tell it anyway. But yeah, so basically, like, you know, oh, fuck! I thought that was down. God damn it. Disaster. But yeah, so someone wanted to sell it in the US, and so like they came in and said like, hey, you know, we'll like take care of this, like we'll be your licensing partner. And so Elorg, as far as I know, was the Russian organization that owned the rights on behalf of the state, or could license them on behalf of the state. And basically, like, one guy came in and said, like, I own all of it, even though the 2 of them have worked on it together. And they said, okay, like, fine, whatever. And so basically, like, one guy got all the royalties and the other guy got screwed. The guy who got screwed actually now works at Google, which I learned somewhat recently. He's one of my co-workers at Google, because everyone works for Google, I guess. It's one of those things that I really love about Google, is that, like, there's a lot of people who work for Google, so there's a lot of, like, names and other things like that that you can meet over time working there. Alright, what am I gonna do here? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna hope for a T. All right, cool. We've set ourselves up for another Tetris. Now we just hope for a line before we completely fill up the entire thing. Cool, there's the Tetris. And the nice thing about it being a little bit later in the game is that we actually get more points for it that way. And now we're set up for another Tetris. So I think that, oh fuck! Oh no! Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Really gotta, like, wait for my pieces to thud before I start moving them around. Like, trying to be super cautious about moving the next piece into place, and twice now I've screwed myself. At least that one was an easy recovery, but no excuse. So I think that that name doesn't sound like the one that didn't get screwed, or that did get screwed. I don't know. Like I said, I'm probably telling it wrong at this point, so I'm not gonna argue too much. Well, I didn't quite turn into a Tetris, but I don't see another way I'm gonna get stuff down there without blocking off lines, so it's all right. I usually don't either. This is a style of play that I have learned specifically because to allow me to play Tetris while Brad is around. This is actually one of the things that I told the story last time I played Tetris, but when I was a kid, I actually had a neighbor who came over, and he was a few years older than me, and we were gonna do a Tetris competition. And so we were like, it was like, switch off players, whoever gets the most points wins. And I remember when I was playing, he told me like, well, you should really try to get 4 lines in a row. I don't know if I knew it was called a Tetris at that point, but you should really try and get 4 lines in a row. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you get more points that way. And I was like, okay. And so I listened to him and I tried it, and I was so bad at it that I just completely failed. I filled up the screen. I made absolutely no progress, and of course I lost. And when I lost, I blamed him. I was like, you were trying to trick me by making me play like in a harder way. Now, of course, if you watch anyone who is good at this game, this is also what they do. It's not like he was trying to trick me. He was giving me like the actual advice that anyone good at this game would give you. The problem was that I wasn't good at this game. And I've always said that, like, being good at a game, you play it in a very different way. The same way that speedrunners play Mario in a very different way from the way I play Mario. Like, I should not expect that we are going to play it in the same way or use the same tips of the tools of the trade or anything else like that. So he was trying to be helpful, but I was very upset when I was like a 7-year-old. And I felt like he had tricked me into losing to him. And so I definitely, from that point on, did not play in the way that he thought that, people should play, in the way that professionals will tell you should play for maximum points. Gotcha. Look at all those points. Look at them all. This could be my best run of the night. Not gonna be anything better than this, boys. Or girls. Not that I really have a lot of women who tend to watch my streams, but Oh god. I need to make that problem worse by being exclusionary. Oh! Okay. Oh, fuck! Fuck! Oh, no! Fuck! No! Fuck! It was looking so good! Oh, oh. They call it the Tetris effect, though? That's an interesting thing. Oh, man. Alright, so let's do... Oh, wait. I wanted to... I want to change the music. There we go. I don't know if I can... There we go. Yeah, I was actually watching the Tetris World Championships or something like that the other day, and like they are so much better at this game than I will ever be. Shame I didn't get that Tetris there. Should've just saved it. There's another line right there, but whatever. The early Tetrises definitely do help, but they don't help nearly as much as the late stage Tetrises. The point differences are so much higher later, so not the end of the world. I'm just gonna set this up here, drop this. Oh, I know we're good to put that. Okay. Or anything really. I'm getting nowhere good here. Back this up on the side. Magic, Brad, magic. I wish my channel had automated text-to-speech on live. That'd be kind of cool. That's a thing YouTube has now. Alright, you know what? We're just going to set up a Tetris. We're early enough in the game that we can spend the time. We are ahead, sadly, on lines, so... the RNG is not in our favor. Hey, don't get used to it, AWOL. So you're saying I should ditch the rainbows and I should just go for a straight, you know, A-line dress instead. I don't have to go all fancy. I still do have the rainbows on my wrists, but yeah, I ditched the corset for the night. Honestly, I just wasn't really feeling like changing. I'm wearing the shirt from the YouTube Gaming 1-year anniversary. That's the YouTube Gaming logo with the 1 on it for our first anniversary. Say ours if I'm on the team, I'm not, but... Ugh. Want another line so I can get another Tetris. Stacked everything up very nicely here. There we go. For me, the rainbows are not about homosexuality or diversity. They're just about the fact that they're pretty. Okay. I make it better and better. That's what I do. Look, watch. This is gonna be much better. No, it's not. It's gonna go flat. Now it's gonna be better. Look how much better that is. Perfect. I don't know how to best that. Alright, see? Perfect. Now we're back to scoring Tetrises. Boom. That particular one is a move that I probably would not have done. Learning that sometimes you can lay down a Z piece, nothing below it is like a Z piece in midair and the line will kill it is something that I hadn't really thought of before, and something that I picked up from playing the Emoji Tetra game this weekend. Just like looking for different patterns than I had ended up looking for at any point before. So this one you can see is going to be a much lower scoring run because I've gotten so few Tetrises. Even though I expect that I'll still make it to about 100 lines. I am not a real pro. That might or might not be obvious from my play here. Also, the number of times I have dropped something in the wrong place just because I thought it was right and it was not tiny. Better for everybody that I give myself a little bit more wiggle room. Oh, fuck! Well, I'm boned. That was bad play all around. This is more bad play. Even my bad play is bad play. I'm doing bad at doing bad. Come on. Come on, Bessie, give. The baby's gotta live. Alright. I want to at least get to 100 lines. Gotta do that at least. Give me something, game. Give me something. Oh! Okay, that's fine. I meant to do that. It's perfect. I don't know what you're talking about. Fuck. Had I looked at my next piece, I would have done something different. Look at your next piece, Chris. Oh no! Fuck. Ah! All right, 100 lines. Yes. Have you seen the, like, I am the man who arranges the blocks?
To Moscow I came seeking fortune, but they're making me work till I'm dead. The bourgeoisie have it so easy. The Tsar's putting gold on his bread. The people of Moscow are hungry, but think what a feast there could be if we could create a socialist state that cared for the people like me. I am the man who arranges the blocks that descend upon me from up above. They come down and I spin them around till they fit in the ground like hand in glove. Sometimes it seems that to move blocks is fine and the lines will be formed as they fall. Then I see that I have misjudged it. I should not have nudged it after all. Can I have a long one, please? Why must these infernal blocks tease?
I am the man who arranges the blocks
that continue to fall from up above. Come Muscovite, let the workers unite, a collective regime of peace and love. I work so hard in arranging the blocks, but the landlord and taxman bleed me dry. But the workers will rise, we will not compromise, for we know that the old regime must die.
Anyway, yeah, so that is a cool song, and, excuse me, is about the history of the Soviet workers in the minds of a, whatever they're called, worker. Is lounge still a thing? Lounge is sort of still a thing, not really a lot. It's still a thing in the sense of, what am I, oh, right. It is still a thing in the sense that it technically exists. Jose and I actually used it yesterday. Oh, fuck. Good job. Good job. I blame the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. Wow. Like, I have no lines, and I'm already in trouble. Oh, God, stupid. Solid start. Solid start. But yeah, so Jose and I watched the first 4 episodes of Cobra Kai yesterday. Speaking of Cobra Kai, Stingray, have you bought your free trial of YouTube Red yet, or did you not? Did you decide not to do that yet? Well, so I stopped kind of maintaining it. Yeah. So you disappeared because you had something going on, like you were on vacation or something like that, and then when you came back, we had kind of moved away from it. It was a lot of work, frankly, for me to constantly, like, the lounge was only interesting when someone was there. Someone was only there, for the most part, when I was there, and so I found myself spending a ton of my time in the lounge, and it was too much for me. So I bailed, and when I bailed, like, no one else really, you know, was like, oh, I'm gonna take over now or something, because it wouldn't really make sense. Part of the reason I bailed is because the feature's dead. They're not gonna keep developing it. So my motivation to kind of push the feature forward by using it and making suggestions went down a lot as a result of that. Jose and I have actually been testing a new feature called Watch Parties, unfortunately only on iOS so far, which give you, I think, all of the features of lounges that you enjoyed. So you can invite a set of people in, you can watch videos, and instead of it being like this broadcast thing where only I control it, it's more like a Chromecast queue where anybody can control it. So, and it does have seeking, and it has the ability for everyone who's in this space to kind of be invited in it. When you invite people, they get notifications on their device, so you don't have to worry about, like, how does anyone know there's a lounge going on, because you can just, like, send people a notification via their phone. So I think it's a much better experience that is going to be better for the typical use case that we were using lounges for. But unfortunately, it's only for iOS so far, so it's hard to know if, like, a lot of people will use it. Yeah, there's a dog food. That's right. Oh, I don't think it's on Android. Really? I didn't see that go by even as dog food. Doesn't mean that I am correct, but you may have seen something that I haven't seen yet. Okay, so we're starting this one off real good here. Real good. But I think we're about to make a recovery. Make this comeback. Don't call it a comeback, baby. Or do, because it is. I don't know why they say don't call it a comeback. Why is that a bad thing to call it when it is a comeback? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. This doesn't seem like it's gonna go real well for me. I will get a Tetris out of it, I think. It might be. I don't know. Like I said, I have not kept close track with it. I've honestly pulled back from a lot of, like, YouTube advocacy and, like, following what's going on stuff because I'm switching jobs. So, hello, Andre. Welcome, welcome. I'm doing poorly at the moment. This round started out badly and went worse all the way along. There has been no point where I've had anything in control, and I'm feeling really kind of poorly about it. But if I can get another line, I can get another Tetris, so I'll get at least 2. Unfortunately, it's looking like I'm not going to get another line, and I'm just going to have to be sad. We're into the fast music part of the level now. Still no signs of a line. Still no signs of a line. Alright, we can just toss these in here. Hate it when you clear 3 lines and you're still, like, in the fast music. Bad sign. Okay, there's my line. Luckily I didn't shove anything in that corner. There we go. Oh, the worst part is that I've actually trapped myself, so even this line isn't going to help a whole lot. There's a huge gap there. What should have otherwise been like a nice Tetris or something was instead just garbage. Alright, we got another Tetris opportunity if we can hold out for another line. Oh, what was I thinking there? That did not go where I thought it was gonna go. That was probably not a wise move. Sorry, I am normally a little bit more able to pay attention to chat even when playing Tetris, but this is not working well for me. All right, there we go. Hello. Okay. Sesame chicken. You didn't order it that long ago. Thank you very much for subscribing. Okay. Hello, Snickerdoodle McBox. Hello, Jeff. Hello, Theo, and Ariel, and Jason, and Pups, and everybody else. Welcome to the stream. I'm the Chris who plays games, fucking up at Tetris all night long. No, we're not gonna fuck up on Tetris all night long. We're gonna fuck up at Tetris for another, I don't know, 30 minutes, and then we're gonna move on to fucking up at Dr. Mario. We played some Wario's Woods earlier. Wario's Woods was one of the last games actually produced for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And then we have moved on to some Tetris, which I have done relatively poorly at. We got Brad in here complaining that I am a violation of the Geneva Conventions when I play Tetris, so be warned that that is the state that we are in. Take care, Stingray. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night. Am I wearing a wig? Jeff, no, I'm not wearing a wig. I am wearing nothing all that special tonight. So tonight we are just wearing our YouTube Gaming 1-year anniversary t-shirt. So you can see the YouTube Gaming logo kind of looking like a cake with a candle in it. That's what I got on tonight. I have been focused on preparing for my trip that's coming up later this week, and so I have not been buying a bunch more wigs to wear. Brad is a Chinese person. I don't think he's a communist. Realistically, the Chinese aren't communists anymore. Mistletoe Online, welcome to the stream. Oh, Jason, it's like for the past few weeks I have been wearing a wig routinely on stream, which is why he was asking. He knows that this is not a wig. Good to see you, Corey. How's it going? Now, Corey, where are you now? Are you near me, or are you still out in that, like, you know, the deep depths of the rest of the state that I refuse to acknowledge exist? Let's go ahead and grab these 3 lines. And that leaves us in poor position to set up a Tetris because we've got a hole at the bottom there. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, a hole. Then fix it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then fix it, dear Henry, fix it. The dark depths of the West. I'll let Corey answer that if he wants to. I don't wanna expose him unnecessarily. Although looking up where I live isn't actually that hard, so I guess I've already done that. But I have no hopes of getting a Tetris. That is correct. I am just in rough shape all over. Holes everywhere. Tetris is Russian communist, Jeff, not Chinese communist. Came close to a Tetris there. I had the right idea. Just forget all this bullshit down at the bottom and move up. Oh no! What have I done? Alright, just sticky there. Sticky, sticky. Wiki, wiki. Fuck. But yes, Massachusetts is the state that we live in. I'm in Cambridge, Massachusetts. This Dine Online is out in Western Massachusetts, where you can actually afford to, you know, have a place to live without breaking the bank necessarily. What am I doing? Oh God, everything has gone to shit. Does YouTube own Fox? No, YouTube does not own Fox. Sometimes it feels more like Fox owns YouTube with their control of copyright. I am the man who arranges the blocks, and I don't know what I am doing here. I will die and I cannot see why. I will do anything but not live, dear. I tried, but I failed miserably. I don't know what I was thinking. Google and Google Maps. So Google Maps, are they going to start charging to use the service? I don't think so. I think there's been an increase in the pricing for API users, for people who use Google Maps on their own website, which is not all that surprising because Google Maps was always one of those things that people looked at as like the Google Maps API is like, how can you possibly afford this? So there's a lot of reasons that Google can make money off of having the maps themselves because they can do recommendations and all these other things, but where serving these tiles to the rest of the world really is a loss-leading model for them. There's a lot of things that Google has done over the years that used to be kind of like they would do them for good, and then over the years a lot of those has been cut back because they don't seem to be money makers anymore. So I don't know exactly what the reasons are behind that. That's something you would have to ask people much smarter than me, but I expect that it's simple business changes. Google has changed a lot in some of the things that it tries to do and some of the roles it tries to play to kind of fill a more, I don't know, investor-friendly perspective, I guess. I don't know if I could probably get in there with a quick rotation somehow, but I'm not gonna even try. Just lay this shit down. Get rid of those lines. Abandon as lost. Did I buy my green screen where Brad did? No, I actually have I have two green screens actually. I have a larger one which I've never actually set up. It's living in a bag at my office, and I have a smaller one which I've actually used to do a little playing with. The problem is that with me using green screens is that like I got green going on here. So although I would love to have the cool effect where I can just be in the game, or you know, surrounded by jellyfish swimming behind me, in reality it doesn't actually work for me because of the clothing choices that I make. All right, now at least we're set up for a Tetris, our first Tetris in a couple of rounds here. Go ahead and drop that in, boom shakalaka, and move on. So Andre, do you use it just to browse or you use it on your website? Hello, Super Fox 5. I mean, I think streaming for yourself is always the most fun. So, as someone who's a giant, you know, attention-seeking person, I fully acknowledge and accept your desire to focus on yourself first. Seems like a totally reasonable thing for me. To me, all right. What do we got here? We're gonna toss this in here, clear a line. Toss this in here, clear a line. Toss this in here, here. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so I think Google has been ramping down the overall level of requests that you can make via the free Google Maps API for a long time now. I don't think that's a brand new transition. When I worked on open source software, my project was actually to work on software called OpenLayers, which was an alternative to Google Maps JavaScript. So you could bring your own maps, and you could then, via like a WMS or like your own tile cache or OpenStreetMap or whatever, and then you could put them online using OpenLayers. And so I remember like several times now that Google has made their tile access more locked down, or changed policy, or increased prices, or other things like that. And I think that's just the reality of dealing with a commercial provider who's giving you something for free. It's nice while it lasts, but you can't really expect it to be there forever. Google isn't motivated to do the needful in this regard. All right, we'll go ahead and toss this in here. And this in here. Stick this in the corner. Get rid of those and move on. I like that I had like 3 lines in a row, and with none of them could I get more than like 1 or 2 lines at a time because I was so poorly set up. Good job, me. Oof, wow. Not the most cheerful subject, but that's actually part of what, in the US, there was actually a piece of software called Everyblock. And one of their goals was to kind of corroborate, or have a bunch of different information from different sources all be displayed on one map. And things like, they were focused more on things like, you know, restaurant health code violations and other things like that. But their goal was, it sounds like kind of similar to yours, to make information available to people. I think that they used OpenLayers and OpenStreetMap. Of course, this was a long time ago. OpenLayers now, I think, has ended up focusing more on the enterprise use case. The thing you probably want to use for building your own map these days is called Leaflet. Pretty easy to use. Should be possible to set up with OpenStreetMap maps or Mapbox maps pretty easily, and is probably going to be not all that different from the Google Maps JavaScript to get started with. So if you do look at the new OpenLayers or Google Maps restrictions and you think that they're too restrictive, that is the place that I would look at. So, capitalist pig dogs! How dare you not give me the piece that I am looking for? Alright, we won't get a Tetris, but we'll score 3 there. Alright, what do we got? What are we gonna do? We're gonna drop one of these in here. But yeah, thank you very much, Missildine Online Raiders, and anyone who might still be here. As I might or might not have mentioned, I am the Chris who plays games, playing retro games every Monday at 9:15, whatever I feel like every Friday at 9:15. This week we are playing some Tetris and other puzzle games. We're probably gonna play this for about another 15 minutes and then move on to Dr. Mario and play that until people get bored of it, and then I will split and go to bed. I am a software developer. I've been working in software for more than, oh my goodness, 15 years at this point. I am currently working at Google on the YouTube team, but I will soon be moving to work on the open source team at Google, where I will be working on ensuring that Google employees can more easily open source software and other things like that. So if you have any questions about myself, about the stream, about anything, feel free to ask me. If you have a question about Google, maybe less so. I can't answer every question about Google because, you know, there's questions about my employer that are not always wise for me to answer. But happy to try or have a conversation. Oh, no problem. I mean, I feel a little bit weird recommending Leaflet because they, like, as far as I'm concerned, Leaflet is still the competition. But I do think Leaflet is probably the right tool for the average person trying to switch away from the Google Maps JavaScript. Man, I really fucked that piece up. I don't know what I was trying to do. Better rotation than that, though, for sure. I'll toss this over here, this over here. Today's beer is actually a cider, and it is called Stranger Things, or Wild Thing. Sorry, Stranger Things is the TV show. It seems like they have stolen the Stranger Things font for their beer, but that was why I was confused. Yeah, it's called Wild Thing. It is a Macintosh-based blend from Artifact Brewery. It's tasty, it's sweet, and I definitely am like a fan of the sweet ciders more so than I am anything else. So I'm happy that that's it. I actually also bought myself a 6-pack of Hogarden. Usually I don't buy 6-packs. Usually I buy, you know, expensive fancy beers from the fancy beer place. But, actually, oh, fuck! Oh, god damn it. Seriously? Oh, god. What the fuck was that? But yeah, it's a craft cider from Artifact. Wild thing. Okay. I am the man who arranges the boxes. Oh, Mike Gilly Gamer, you asked about who to ask about things. So first of all, Team YouTube is people. I know that people don't believe that, but it is people. It's people following a playbook, but it's still people. And I think that when you see responses that seem like they're not people, it's not because it's a robot. It's because when you pay a bunch of contractors to do a job, they seem kind of like robots. As far as drop frames, though, on your side, if you right-click on the player, click, you know, stats for nerds or whatever else like that, then you see drop frames. Drop frames in that case is on your computer. That is the client side drop frames. It has nothing to do with the server side, and it is about the rendering on your computer. So the short answer is talk to your browser manufacturer. If you're not using Chrome, use Chrome. If you are browsing this on, like, if you have, I don't know, acceleration turned off, sometimes that means you're not going to use H.264 like accelerated decode and other things like that. So average web dev at Google is kind of a weird weird request. Ask is not a verb. That's not a word you should use in that way. It's kind of a weird request because, like, I don't know what I would call an average web dev, but Google hires for a generalized role called software engineer. The software engineer role is basically Google only hires generalists. And so you have to be able to do kind of general software development. There are also UX roles, but I don't know anything about how much they get paid. But if you're going to talk about how much does the average software engineer, say, the average software engineer straight out of college is going to make about $120,000 in Boston. Different locations can make different amounts of money, is going to make about $120,000 a year. So it's like a software engineer 3 role. The average software engineer 4, like the one level up, which is going to be after, like, that's what I was hired at, despite, like, when I had 10 years of experience in the industry, is going to be about $150,000 a year. And the average software engineer 5 is like $175,000 a year. Those are all base salaries. A lot of Google compensation ends up being in stock. And so now I'm kind of weird because I negotiated hard when I was being hired, because I have very little faith in stock because my dad worked for Lucent where stock became worthless. And so I have kind of this moral aversion to stock-based compensation. And so for me, I pushed hard and got, I said, I want less stock and I want more cash. And they said, well, we don't want to give you much more cash, but we will give you a lot more stock, which is kind of a weird response, but it's the one that they chose. So I ended up in a weird position where I have a lot of stock compensation, and I don't know how typical that is. But I think typically, after 4 years of working at Google, you can kind of expect that your stock compensation will be, I don't know, I'm trying to think, probably about 60% of your total base pay. So if I'm making like $150,000 a year base, that my stock compensation will also be another $100,000 a year or something along those lines. And again, it's like off the top of my head, and I don't know, like that's something I know less about than the kind of salary ranges that are pretty typical. And again, this is based on software engineers in Boston or Cambridge primarily, different locations. Like if you were in Boulder, it's got a lower compensation rate because they're like the cost of living is theoretically lower there. So. But yeah, basically base pay $120,000 straight out of college, $150,000 after 5 to 10 years in the industry, $175,000 base after like 10 years. You should expect that you will get 15% of your compensation as a bonus every year. So my Christmas / holiday bonus that I get in January is targeted at 15% of my base pay, which can go up if I perform well. And yeah, I need to be less drunk. It turns out that like Tetris gameplay goes downhill quickly for me when drunk. Not that I was super good beforehand, but I definitely have gotten worse as I've had more than a little bit of liquor. Yeah, well, so that's the, like, not software engineer bit for you, AWOL. So I think part of it is Thornton. I mean... Go / salary sheet, man. You gotta check this shit out for yourself. Put yours in there. Gotta fight back against the man. And compensation is one of those things that I think it's actually really important to discuss with other people. It can be really easy to get hosed either on purpose or by accident. So at one point I think someone figured out that like all of the like, you know, there was like a class of worker in Dublin that because of like a weird competitive, like, so all of Google's prices are attempted to be like competitive against local economic conditions. And so like they pay, like they outsource these things to other companies to go look up like how much do people make in these industries in these towns. And in Dublin, like someone had fucked up and people who were like designers for data centers were getting paid the same as people who like run fiber cabling or something like that because someone wasn't fighting for the right thing. You know, like, and these are things that you can only know if you have kind of broad access to information. So at Google, a few years back, a software engineer who has since left the company actually put a lot of effort into setting up a system, like just a spreadsheet really, but and advocating that people put their salary information into it. And so now this is something that every year people say like, hey, you know, it's time to update your compensation information. And if you're coming in new, like you can now look at this and see how much do I get paid versus other people in my town at my level or whatever. And so this is how I know that my stock compensation is kind of ridiculously high, is because that's one of the things that's asked in the sheet, and I can have the conversation and say like, wow, like it looks like I have gotten a lot of stock. And so for me, I am getting like 100% of my base pay in stock. So I have like $180,000 a year in base pay, and I have $180,000 a year in stock. But I think that is because I convinced them to give me a shit ton of stock when I started, and everything since then has been based on that. And so I commented on Twitter the other day that like, you know, what you negotiate for when you start is actually very meaningful and can impact you for a long time. And like, that's how I know that, is because that's exactly what happened to me at Google, is that I negotiated hard and got this money that most people don't get. And as a result, I am drastically overpaid. Which is why I give a lot of money away to charity and to, you know, other creators and like, you know, other things like that. So my goal is to give 10% of my base pay to charity every year. And of course, pay a lot of taxes too. Oh god. And I should be taxed more heavily. The fact that US taxes are so low is depressing. God damn it. 71 lines. Stupid. Yeah, and so that's the real problem, is that like people who start in like how you started can change a lot. All right, we're gonna switch to Dr. Mario. Dr. Mario, Dr. Mario, Dr. Mario World. Dr. Mario World. Da -da 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 -da. Oh, US version of the Dr. Mario game. All right, start it out, baby. Let's see how far we get. I don't have the skill to play two player at the same time. I appreciate your vote of confidence in me, AWOL, but not something that I have. What do I want to do there? Try something different. This is the beat, it's the musical beat. This is the beat, it's the musical beat. Yes, I made up my own songs to Dr. Mario back when I was a kid playing this way too much. So, you know that I have some Dr. Mario experience at this point. Let me get some reds in here, baby. All right, there we go. Give me some uppers. There we go. Anyway, is Dr. Mario on my health plan? So my health plan is generally pretty open and accepting, but I'm pretty sure Dr. Mario isn't on there. Oh fuck. Kind of screwed myself there. Alright, let's go ahead and sneak this in. And put this here. Oh no! Well, it's fine. You are gone, my friend. Used to hate this game. Never been able to play this thing, Chris. The other Chris who plays games. Good to see you. I don't know, I love Dr. Mario. Played it a lot. Alright, there we go. Stage clear, try next. Do anything fun with your holiday, Chris? Oh no! Fuck! Shit. God damn it. Oh no, what am I doing? Oh god, it's all gone so wrong so quickly. Oh. Alright, it's fine. I don't know what I'm freaking out about. It's fine. I know how to do this. Let's just get this stuff out of here. This is the alcohol in me is taking a little bit more out of me than I expected. Oh no, I should have gone down. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, I couldn't have. No, it's fine. That's fine. Fine. Clear this out. Okay, now we're good. Everything's fine. We're all good here. Hey, that's good. I think my parents have not visited for a while. We did change, we changed the rules of the game. Visiting in either direction has to occur in such a way that we are, prepared and expecting that we do not share a house, which was definitely a very smart innovation on our part. It was something that we worked out with our therapist that we had to change about the way that we were spending time together. And I found that it was definitely an improvement. You know, giving each other space is very good. All right, we'll go ahead and take this out. Although I did just realize that your comment, like, nothing is ruined. Oh no, I didn't. Well, okay, that's fine. Daydream doesn't equal YouTube. Oh well, Daydream is 3D video stuff. So my guess is that work on Daydream for YouTube is about the Oh no! Oh fuck! I was trying to get that over one. Oh well. And toss those in. This. Now we just gotta clear both of these blues. And I guess that's why they call it the blues. Stuff over here. Usually I am better at these early levels. I blame the alcohol. As I said, blame it on the alcohol. Bum ba dum bum 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 ba da no no. Oh da no 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 no. Oh no! Oh, my gorgeous plan was ruined. Ah. Okay. Just do this the normal way. Nothing fancy on from the side here. But yeah, that's good. I'm glad they were able to make it out. Cause you've got your little one is a few months old now, right? So you've still got this is probably the first trip post baby, or like, you know, I guess maybe not the first, but still a relatively new baby existence. 9 months, yeah, okay. Take care, Mike. That is true, Yugi. I gotta give myself a little bit of credit for playing these other things too, but I think it's mostly just the alcohol. It's the reaction times. All of my brain motion slows down. You're gonna go away, and you're gonna go away. It's cool. Yeah, my parents haven't been out for a while. I think we did. I don't remember. There was something recently they came out for. We took them to the. So the Boston Public Library has a restaurant inside of it. Oh, that's right. We didn't take my parents there though, because my dad won't eat anything. My dad doesn't really dig fancy food. But they have a tea room inside the Boston Public not Possum Plug, the Possum Plug library, the thing I meant to say. And so we took my parents into, or we took my grandmother into that when she came out recently. It's nice for anyone who's willing to do like a tea service. So if you've got friends who are interested in doing like a traditional like British tea service, it can be a nice visit. If you've got people who don't dig that kind of food, then it's not really like there's nothing else that you can get there. They don't have like normal food, but I will go ahead and do this. Yeah, so there's a like a food court / cafeteria thing that's right outside of the tea room. And so the tea room, they bring you like the choices of tea are given to you on a menu that's like inside of a book, and it's kind of like a really fancy place. Yeah, the cucumber sandwich place. That's right. And so they've got, well, so I mean, my dad would not be a fan of cucumber finger sandwiches at all. And so for me, like it's like a cucumber sandwich and a salmon sandwich and like these, you know, 3 or 4 other things. So you get like 4 or 5 different options, but that's basically like you don't get a choice on food. They just bring you all of these little like tea sandwiches. And I love it. Like it's a nice thing. But you have to be the type of, oh fuck! Not what I wanted to do at all. This is not going well for me so far, I'm gonna have to say. Do that, okay. That's right, AWOL. Alright, that's fine. Just wanted to get it in a place where it could do some good and not be in the way. Alright, let's do this. But we took my grandmother there when she came to town most recently, so she comes out more often because she's actually got family in Hudson, New Hampshire. So my maternal grandmother's family is from Hudson, New Hampshire, which is not why I live out here at all, but is still an interesting— oh, fuck! I don't know what to do with anything anymore. Oh, God. Okay. There we go. Alright, there we go. Whew, freaking out over nothing. You're fine, Chris. Just keep playing. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so I'll probably play 1 or 2 rounds of this and then I will call it a night. I do have to fly tomorrow, but luckily because of my change in plans, I don't have to fly early. I am flying at around noon, and that is plenty of time, but I still do have to get Julie up in the morning because, you know, just because she's 17 years old doesn't mean she can actually use an alarm clock and get herself out of bed. That would be ridiculous. Oh, I should have done that up. Nah, that's fine. Yeah, my I mean, I will admit, so I'm a weirdo. I've been waking up for like early o'clock for so long that I can't even remember like not doing that. Okay, what do I want to do? I want to drop a yellow. Oh, that was nice. Paying attention. Oh fuck! Okay, we're good. We're good. It's all fine. It's good. Get rid of that. Boom, boom. Oh, well. Oh, shoot. That was dumb of me. Okay, that's fine. Oh, no! Oh, fuck. Okay. Let's just get rid of the blue thing, and then... Alright, there we go. Perfect. No problems whatsoever. Hey, look, I got a congratulations skill screen. Just need smart bombs. See, there were smart bombs in the last game that I played, and they were not very useful, I feel like. I feel like it turns out that there's actually like a whole other set of buttons that I could have learned to press in the game in order to use these smart bombs for something other than smart bombing things, and I didn't know that. Crap. That's what I learned about Super Metroid, is that like if you enable, I think, smart bombs, and then press them while you're in your normal fire mode or whatever, it will actually fire a special beam weapon, which I did not know. So I was watching like other people playing speedruns or whatever, and I was like, but how do you do that move? Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh, why did I do that? That wasn't a smart move at all. So in Super Metroid, if you enable smart bombs, no, so I'm not. Oh, thanks. If you choose smart bombs as a weapon in Super Metroid and you use them in while you have your beam weapon active, instead of using a smart bomb, it will generate a special beam weapon. Oh, I forgot my little thing isn't in the front. Where are you, little thing?
Here's on me tonight. Keep on popping those pills, Doc.
Thank you very much, AWOL. I'm popping pills because I'm playing Dr. Mario, Jeff. But yes, so there are special beam weapon abilities that you can trigger and activate in Super Metroid by using your beam weapon while or using a smart bomb while you're in the beam weapon state. That's what I was trying to say. We talked about it in Edge Boston. Someone told me about it, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, and then I looked it up. Okay. Go ahead over here, do this, do that. This game is actually probably the hardest of all of the... I mean, I'm also slightly more inebriated than I was with any other ones, but I think this is probably the hardest of the puzzle-y games that I've played. I know that I'm usually better at it than this, but still. Oh. Let's throw this in there. This should be a little bit fine. It's not perfect, but... Go. That'll get rid of the yellow, but not the red, but that's fine. Now we can get some yellow in here. Woo! Should get rid of the blue as well, so I don't care too much about that red fuck up. Oh, fine. Hashtag me. Alright. Okay, so what else did happen this weekend, this week? It's amazing to me that it's only been, like, Thursday was the day that they announced they were canceling the North Korea summit. But I guess the other thing about that is that they're still sending delegates over to start planning the North Korea summit. So there are, like, people in North Korea right now who are, like, planning the North Korea summit. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, is this just, like, Trump is going to change his mind so rapidly that we have to have, like, rapid response people in country to fix shit? I don't understand that at all. But that was a news article that came out yesterday. It is... News moves so fucking fast now. So I used to listen to Keep It at 1600, which is a podcast done by a couple of folks who used to work in the White House. And after they transitioned out of the White House, they transitioned to the Pod Save America brand. Same people, same podcast, but with a different brand name on it. And I remember that, like, I used to feel like, oh yeah, like, you know, every week it's catching up on the week's news, and yeah, there's a lot of things going on, but it wasn't that big of it. Like, you never felt like you were so far behind. Now, like, it just feels like you are constantly super far behind. It surprises me that they'll try to prep for it, AWOL. Like, since when has anyone ever tried to be prepared for anything that Trump does? Like, he doesn't plan anything at all. He's just, like, the most seat-of-your-pants guy, and his entire, like, organization is just as freaking broken in that regard as he is. So, it surprised me a little bit, not that, someone would think Trump was going to magically change his mind, but that they would actually plan ahead for it, I guess is the problem that I'm having at the moment. Like, you haven't planned ahead for anything else you've done in the entire fucking presidency, but this is the thing? This is the thing you're gonna do? It does, yes. No diagonal as far as I know, but it does have horizontal. That's correct. I've used them a couple times, but not a lot. Fine. Yeah, a couple times I definitely tried to pull it out and failed. So it's mostly just the I am not nearly as good at this as it seems like I am, which I think is not very good in the first place, so. Oh god, what am I doing? Not that. That was not the goal. That was the wrong thing. Alright, let's just clear out some of these. Oh god, what was I thinking? Okay. We could talk about it, but what are we gonna discuss other than, like, it's a video game? Next thing I know, AWOL, you're gonna be complaining because your World War II game has women in it. Jeez. That was the other big gaming controversy of the past week, is that the cover of the new Battlefield game has a woman on it. And we all know that there were no women in World War II other than like one of the most effective snipers of all time, who was a woman, Russian woman. And, you know, we all know that games are totally realistic all the time if you forget the whole, like, you know, what, like, respawns? Like, you're complaining about realism in this case? Everything else in this game is very accurate. 100%. Alright, here we go. Double dipping. Alright, there's that sideways. Ripping that in there. Get this guy out of here. Battlefield in this case rather than Call of Duty, but same difference. Oh, well that was a stupid move on my part because I just dropped a bunch of blue shit on top of the red guy that I want to get rid of, but whatever, it's fine. Alright. And dead. I win! Alrighty. Got. Ah! Couldn't rotate it. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by, Chris. I'll catch you later. But yes, gamer dorks were very upset about their Battlefield having a woman on the cover. That this was utterly unrealistic. In that vein, I guess Total Biscuit died, and there was a lot of discussion whether shitting on someone who has recently died because he was an utter asshole in real life is acceptable or not. My feeling is, for the most part, if you don't want me to call you a shithead after you die, don't be an asshole during your life. There may be some nuance to this, because I knew nothing about Total Biscuit during his life, other than at one point he wrote a somewhat at least a somewhat accurate comment on how YouTube Red revenue worked, but other than that I don't know anything about him. I had heard of him before, but he's just another gaming commentator person to me, so nothing special as far as I was concerned. Okay, we got some space here. No, that was not the right approach. Oh no! What was I thinking? Ah! No, there are not important updates pending. Go away. Windows. You can just interrupt me right now? You think that's what you can do? You are incorrect. I am the god of you. I am the god of this machine. But yeah, so I knew almost nothing about Total Biscuit. I'd seen his name a couple times before, but just because I work for YouTube and his name had come up a couple times. But there were definitely some people who were very strongly of the opinion that he participated in the Gamergate nightmare. Of course, as is always the case, there are people like, oh, well, he really just believed in ethics and game journalism, and any level of you know, harassment he participated in was solely accidental. And I'm going here like, you know what? Like, when you have a platform that big, you don't actually get the accidental abuse excuse. You have a responsibility to, like, monitor and be cautious in how you use your platform. I try to be careful in how I use my platform, and I have like 12 people who watch me. So, you know, I don't buy that excuse of like, oh, he just didn't know that all of his like supporters were being asshole shitheads to everybody. Like, that's horseshit. The reality is that when you develop a platform which is large enough, you have a responsibility to use it responsibly, and somehow you've got to figure out a way to do that. And if you don't, then you're gonna get shit on for things that may or may not be your intent, but intent doesn't matter at that point. I am in real trouble for that right-hand side. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do over here. I think I'll probably go for the horizontal, but even that isn't great. Take care, AWOL. If I see you, I see you. Alright. What's going on here? What's going on here? Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room. We'll spend the night together, forever in my room. Oh, my brain can't process. It really is brutal. I agree. And it's a brutality of my own making. Might still make it out of here alive. Ugh. Oh, shoot. I just realized I'm not as far down as I thought I was on that. God damn it. Okay. Here we go. We'll clear this out. And we'll clear this out. Now we need one yellow somewhere. Oh. I knew what I was doing all along. I was just very bad at it. This is the beat, it's the musical beat. This is the beat, it's the musical beat. Oh. Oh. Where are all my fucking blues? Give me some goddamn blues. Guess that's why they call it the blues. Alright, now I got some blues. Alright. Oh! That was bad in multiple ways. I wanted to at least get something out of it, but I got nothing. Nothing there, my friends. Alright, let's get rid of these. Hello, James. Yeah, my dealing with the reds nicely has fallen far behind at this point. Deep breaths, deep breaths. You're good, you're good. Okay, here we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're doing a little bit better now. Feeling a little bit more even keeled, even Stevened. See what we can climb out of here with. Go ahead and try and clear off this red on top of the blue over here on this side, while at the same time we try and open up a possibility of doing something in this pit here. Drop these down. Clear out this yellow. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing over there anymore. Okay. Now that yellow on top does not matter. Oh god! Okay. Well... Okay, no nightmares. Everything's pretty okay. Nothing's perfect, but okay. Don't know really what I want to do there. Clearly something different than that, but Bud Light Orange. I think Bud Light Lime is the only Bud Light that's acceptable. No, I just finished drinking a cider, so I definitely don't need anything else. Fork knife? Fork knife? You're tired of the best game ever, Barbara? The best game ever. You can tell it's the best game ever because everyone is playing it all the time. If it wasn't the best game ever, would that be the case? I don't think so. Welcome, Barbara. Happy to have you here. Okay. I don't... Oh, there we go. This is what I wanted. Here we go. Boom shakalaka. Alright. Now, what do we got next? Let's go ahead and drop this down. We'll push this yellow into the middle of that. Clear out a little bit of extra here so we can lay down reds at the bottom to finish that off as well. We'll use these blues while we got them. And finish off the red. Clear this out, so whatever blue we get next. Give me some blue, give me some blue, give me some blue, give me some blue. Oh, Jesus Christ, seriously? Come on. How many pills is it gonna take? There we go. Oh. I mean, why are you trying to play Fork Knife? Fork Knife is for I don't know. Not important to play whatever's hot at the moment. So many people who play that game. I am shocked and amazed at how many people play that game. I was actually mentioning this weekend, like, even people on Mixer get views playing Fork Knife. So, you know, it tells you everything you need to know. Not really. It doesn't tell me anything. I don't understand how that game became such a freaking crazy phenomenon. I've watched these things. I sort of understand some of them, but that one is just like, it is weird to me that that game is one that can just lift up entire platforms all at once with absolutely no good reason for it. Fuck! It's not like it's a bad game. It's just, it's weird how much it became such a thing, like, and it's not overnight, obviously, but very quickly, and then has had staying power? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. It just does not make sense to me. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Fuck is the plan? Got no plan. Plan's just fuck shit up. Probably could have handled that better. It's not fun. It's really not fun? Huh. Okay, well, all the people I watch are very good at faking it then. Or, I mean, well, actually, let me put it this way. Like, is it not fun because you didn't do well at it? Because, like, I know there's a lot of games that I think aren't fun because I just totally suck at them. And, like, when other people play, I'm like, you get to see something very different about this game than I do because I suck at it. So, I don't know. I know that can sometimes be, like, contribute to the not funness of a game is that... yeah, it's not fun for me because I can't get anywhere in it. It's definitely happened with some, like, platformers and other stuff like that for me. Other stuff like that. Another one of my Bill words that I should work on improving in my speech. And just drop that out. See the bombs dropping out. Got 1 foot in the hole, 1 foot in deeper. Burning out the ledge, blowing out the speaker, and... I ain't got much left to lose. I'm crazy, I'm busted, I've been jaded, I've been dusted. I know that I've seen better days. I've seen better days. I've been the star of many plays. I've seen better days. Alright, go ahead and get you out of here. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of either, like, I like Splatoon, but that's pretty much the only first or third person shooter I've ever really enjoyed. And I think for me, like, that one's just so playful that I enjoy it in spite of the fact that it's a shooter. I don't really enjoy the idea of massive multiplayer, although at least in Fortnite is there actually, like, because one of the big problems I have with multiplayer is the abuse that you take from all the people who are, like, even slightly better at the game than you are. And my impression has been that that's not as big of a thing in Fortnite because that isn't, like, there isn't player-to-player communication in the multiplayer. That's true. I love GoldenEye too. It's... Alright, I made it to level 10. Let's see, what do we got here? I'll toss this blue pill here. See, these ones are nice. When I kind of stack this up and I get all of those pieces fall down into the right spot, makes me feel happy. Now this is going to take out those red guys, but now I've got no place to put this red that's helpful. And that makes me a sad panda. Take these out. Boom, boom. That was bad, but it wasn't terrible. That was terrible. And may actually screw me. Not careful. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of cases where you don't have any good moves to play. We all know I also suck at Tetris, so who am I to comment on that? Alright, let's go ahead and play this here. I do keep talking to Brad as if he can hear me despite knowing that his sound on his work computer doesn't work, but whatever. That's besides the point. Alright, there we go. Alright. Go ahead and just toss these blue and yellows over in the corner. So other than playing fork knife, Mrs. Barbara, how are you? Are you in, when are you flying to the place? Are you flying to the place? The place, the thing, that time? I'm flying tomorrow morning. Cool. If you are around... So I'm doing dinner with my team tomorrow night, probably. But if you're around and want to do something, let me know. So my last week as a YouTube employee this week. I'll be moving on to the open source world after this week. I am going to your, I registered for your offsite, so. Sharing's hard. Losing is easy. Killed all the blues. Nice. Oh no! Well, that's fine. Want to get a red and yellow. Give me a red and yellow. Red and blue. I want a red and yellow. Oh, I probably could have done something with that. Whatever. Alright, this is fine. All I need is one more yellow down in that bottom pit, and I will take that little thing out. Oh no! Fuck! But yes, so my last week in YouTube, I will be spending a lot of this week writing documentation about all of the things that I know that other people don't know, hopefully. I will be hopefully leaving my team in a decent, but probably not great position to continue any work that I have done. And we'll have to see how it goes. But I'm looking forward to switching to my new team next week. Could be exciting. Alright. What do we got now? I expect that this is not going to go well, but that's fine. Oh, fuck! Shit. Just off by one and not really paying attention. Well, I have a lot of options here. Yeah, especially, well, the other thing about this is that unlike Tetris, where your pieces become more limited as you play more, it's the opposite. You start off the level with the least amount of options, and then they increase as you go through the level, which plays very differently. I was actually reading a tweet from a game developer who I guess is taking a little vacation. He just released a game, kind of surprise released a game earlier this week, and he was like, you know, I can tell that it's time for me to be done with vacation because I am now attempting to invent better rules for Scrabble that provide a better endgame experience. Like, there needs to be letter swapping so there are fewer deadlocks and blah blah blah. It had like a handful of other things in there that he cared about as well. Fuck me, what was I thinking? Ugh. Oh no! That rotated the wrong way. Alright. You're out of here, you're out of here. This thing's out of here. Get out of here. Oh baby, baby, baby. Oh, like baby, baby, baby. Oh. Go. And boom, excellent. Got pretty much nothing to do there, but should have laid that the other way, so it goes. Oh, fuck. No, that's fine, because I'll be able to do this at least. There we go. Planned it all along. Clearly didn't, but that's besides the point, right? Oh god, I got nothing good to do there. I'm gonna lay that there on purpose. I'm gonna try and clear off the red from the top of this. I was until I fucked it up. Let's just clear these out instead. This is the beat. It's the medical beat. Yeah, that works. This is the beat. It's the medical beat. This is the beat. It's the medical beat. This is the beat. It's the medical beat. I am getting sleepy, that is true. I'm gonna, as soon as I die, it'll be done. Alright, screw it. Oh no! Fuck! Okay. Lay down reds. Reds, reds, reds. Oh gosh. Okay. Fine, we're fine, we're fine. Toss this yellow on here and pop that down. Now we'll get rid, oh, we don't quite get rid of that red, but that's fine. Take that. Take this. I don't really have anything to do with the yellow and blue, I don't think. If there is, I'm not easily seeing it. Alright, so if we get a red and blue now, which is what I want, then we'll drop this, kill this, drop that, kill those four. Kill these bottom yellows. Fuck. Alright. But it's gonna be a bit tricky here. Ah! Fuck. Okay, let's just stack a stack across here so that we can stack up blues next to it. Okay. Okay. Just look for double reds because I don't want to try and mess with anything else. Fuck. Come on, double red. Yes! I succeeded. I succeeded. Okay. Favorite video game based, favorite animal based video game mascot. I don't know. Well, give me some options. I'm too sleepy to think of a lot of things on my own here. So you gotta give me some direction here. Like, what's yours, AWOL? Oh, sorry, sneeze. Okay, not sneeze. I'd say probably Sonic. I got a lot of love for Sonic. Trying to think if there's anybody who might be competing with that, but I don't think there is. Oh, fuck. What am I thinking here? I got no thoughts. It's gonna be a fucking disaster. Ugh. Oh, that kind of worked out. Better than I was expecting it to. Ah, it didn't rotate like I wanted to. Alright. Yeah, I mean, Sonic is the only one that I have a lot of affinity or nostalgia for, which is how a lot of my decisions are made in the end, is based on nostalgia, so. Okay. What do we got? We're gonna toss this one here. Cool. Oh, okay. Not really loving some of my limited options here, but that's kind of the way the game is played, so. No? Okay. Oh, why did I do that? Oh, no. Okay. Oh, no! I thought that was gonna... Fuck. Okay, that's fine. Clear that out. Get out of here. Fine. Get out of there safe. No, I went with Sonic. And again, I know Brad can't hear me, but I answer him anyway. Yoshi. Yeah, I don't know. I have really fun. So Sonic was probably, so there's a like Sonic is the first character, probably the first animal character that I ever encountered. Fuck! Shit. That was dumb. That was... Oh, god damn. Okay. I think it's gonna be like this level, and then the next one I'm gonna die, because I don't think that I can make it through any more of these. The way I'm playing. Never encountered Jazz Jackrabbit as a kid. I only met Jazz Jackrabbit once I started streaming here, really. I never saw any of his games. I had Jill the Jungle. I had a couple other things, but nothing animal related in the DOS era. I mean, does Sonic reek of the 90s more so than Jazz Jackrabbit? I think those would be pretty similar, really. What the fuck am I doing? Oh, God. The mess. Okay. Need some more blues over there. This yellow. Oh no! Fuck. Thought I had a smart move in place, but I did not. Alright. Alright, so let's just try for a double yellow for that side there. And drop everything else. Double blue, we can slide in here and take this down a notch. There's my double yellow. Take you out with that. Now I want a double blue. I'm not gonna get, but we'll use this red and blue. Okay, here we go. Need one more red. There we go. Oh. Trash Pill Mountain, that's right. Felt really good at the beginning there, just for a little bit. Wasn't getting stacked up in the wrong places with the wrong pills, but all that had to come to an end. Go. "39 viruses remain." Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't say viruses. Maybe they didn't have an E in their font. They use an E anywhere else? Oh, they do. Level. Never mind. I withdraw that concern. Fuck. Alright, well, that's fine. Why did I do that? Why did I think that was a good idea? Oh, fuck. Take out a bunch of viruses and then I'm gonna die. It's gonna be awesome. Oh! Fuck, I needed that pill. Ugh! Like that. I don't know how I'm gonna get out of that right-hand side there. I think I may have trapped myself. Congratulations, you played yourself. Oof, 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 oofta, oofta. Not sure that was a good thing overall. Probably was. Hard to tell. Do it again and see what I think then. Alright. Fuck. Could have done something a little bit better there, but that's okay. We're not dead yet. Oh! Well, that's looking closer to dead. Okay. Let's get rid of this tower. Gone. Gone, daddy, gone. My love is gone. Yeah, it's gone, daddy, gone. My love is gone. Gone, daddy, gone. My love is gone. Yeah, it's gone, daddy, gone. My love is gone away. Gone away. No. I have used whatever is the default on my machine for always. I used Xterm explicitly for a little bit, and it was like what I used at the time, but I have never changed my default shell / terminal. I'm pretty sure. I know a lot of people have, like, in general, I use the whatever tool is the default is the one I'm going to use. I am very much a walking, talking example of defaults matter because I don't use pretty much anything else. Alright, I'm fucked. Really fucked. Oh, fuck. Fuck. If I get out of here alive, it's gonna be a fucking miracle. Fuck! Nope. They move too fast. I cannot handle it. Oh, that's it. And that is the stream. Take care, Brad. Okay. So I guess there's only 20 levels. I made it to 14. That's not bad. Oh my goodness. Alright. Well, now that there's very few of you left, I am a user of VI, not Nano. I used Nano when I very first started on Linux, but because I used Pine as my first Linux or command line mail client, but VI, yeah. I mean, so Barbara, the music has this cool property. If you just search for Dr. Mario music, then you got it. And you can just right click on it and press loop. Or you can go to this extended version. Here you go. Right there. Found it for you. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. As usual, I'm the Chris who plays games, playing retro games every Monday at 9:15, whatever I feel like every Friday at 9:15. On Friday, I will probably continue to build the fishing pole from the Labo kit. I've just gotten back from LA, so I want something a little bit short, and maybe we'll go through and do that. On the following Monday, I have no plans on what I want to play, so if you have a retro game you want me to play, you can type game form in the description. And I think that's what it says. And that will give you a link to submit a game. Other than that, I love you all. The following Friday, I will be playing an open source game developed by one of my coworkers that is similar in style to Super Metroid. So we got a whole busy couple weeks planned. The following week, I will not be streaming on Monday. It'll be a busy month for me. I got Mountain View, I got LA trip, I got Mountain View trip, and I got VidCon. So I'm going back and forth across the country 3 times in the next few weeks. So it's going to be busy month for me, but I'm going to try and keep the streams going here. And yeah, if you want to fall asleep to me, you can just I got a previous stream, you can go just listen to that. I'll say a bunch of different words. I talk a lot more at the beginning of the stream than I do at the end of the stream anyway, so if you really want to listen to the dulcet tones of CPG, there's always that. It's lovely to have all of you here. I'm glad you enjoyed chilling out as you made thumbnails or anything else. I'll be back on Friday. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.